क्या हुआ? ठीक है, चलिए I'll restart. So good evening everyone. आज से हम मेंस मास्टर्स प्रोग्राम शुरू कर रहे हैं. We are starting a bit early because we wanted to compensate for the loss of 3 weeks that happened because of the delay in the postponement of preliminary examination. Now today's class is not like the way we'll take class today. It's not the structure that we'll have every day. Every day what we'll do is, for the first 45 minutes we'll write 4 answers. तो जो भी हमने पिछले क्लास में पढ़ा है we'll write 4 answers. Then for another 15-20 minutes we'll have discussion on those answers. We'll understand how introduction for that answer should have been written, how what should be the main focus area of that particular question, how conclusion should have been written. So every day in this program we'll be writing 4 answers. This will be the beginning of every class. So when you will come here at 5 PM, the first thing that you will see is 4 questions written in front of you and you will start writing answers. So initial 1 hour इसमें जाएगा and then we'll study for 3 hours. Now what are we going to study? देखो, till last year I used to take target mains program only, where we used to cover GS2 and GS3 thoroughly. But a lot of you used to demand कि सर एक comprehensive program चाहिए जहाँ पे entire GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4 gets covered. So this year we have a target mains program where only GS2 and GS3 is going to be covered. Target mains is more dynamic in the sense it's more current affairs centric. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday we'll have target mains where GS2 and GS3 is getting covered. And if you are enrolling in yourselves in mains masters program, here entire GS1, GS2, GS3 and GS4 would be covered. Okay, so let me just briefly give you a basic intro of overall what are we going to do over the next 70 days. Over the next 70 days we plan to cover each and every bullet point mentioned in the syllabus. Each and every bullet point. अच्छा, even before that, थोड़ा सा ऐसे समझते हैं कि if you are part of mains masters program, then what should be your study plan? अगर हम GS 1, 2, 3, 4 आपको करा रहे हैं, अच्छा, how many of you have been part of some program at LevelUp IAS in the past? PMP में थे? अच्छा, बहुत सारे लोग थे. तो prelims masters program में आप लोग सब पढ़े हैं? कितने लोग prelims masters program में पढ़े हैं? Many of you have studied. तो you people will have this confidence कि आपको बाहर से कुछ नहीं पढ़ना होगा. The one complaint that you will have is सर ने बहुत सारी चीजें पढ़ाई हैं. The complaint that you will not have is कोई topic miss हो गया. Therefore, when you study with us, when you are studying in mains masters program with us, आपके पढ़ने का strategy थोड़ा सा अलग होगा. आप कहीं भी और पढ़ते हैं ना, आपको बहुत सारे source refer करने पड़ते हैं बाद में, because you are not given that confidence कि यार सब कुछ करना हमारा काम है. राइट, बट व्हेन यू स्टडी विथ लेवल अप, एक चीज ध्यान में रखिएगा कि हम करके देंगे. जो भी करना है, पढ़ना है. अगर आप मेंस मास्टर्स प्रोग्राम ज्वाइन कर रहे हो तो इट इज आवर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी टू एंश्योर दैट ईच एंड एवरीथिंग फ्रॉम GS1 टू GS4 इंक्लूडिंग इट्स PYQs, जैसे आज हम साइंस शुरू करेंगे, हम उसमें समझेंगे, विल बी टेकन केयर ऑफ बाय अस. कंसाइज नोट्स विल बी गिवन बाय अस. उससे और भी छोटे नोट्स, शॉर्ट नोट्स बना सकते हो, बनाना चाहो तो, बट आपके GS 1, 2, 3, 4 पढ़ने का सोर्स ये रहेगा. ओके, इफ यू आर पार्ट ऑफ LevelUp IAS, इफ यू आर पार्ट ऑफ मेंस मास्टर्स प्रोग्राम, एक चीज का ध्यान रखिएगा. देखो, इन योर प्रिपरेशन ओवर द नेक्स्ट 70 days टिल 1st of September, और इनफैक्ट यू कैन टेक इट टिल, आपका मेंस एग्जाम कब से? 22nd से, 22nd से है ना? 20 तारीख से. ओके, 20 तारीख से. तो टिल 13th of September आपका शेड्यूल कुछ इस तरह का होना चाहिए. फर्स्ट हाफ ऑफ द डे इज फॉर योर ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट. फर्स्ट हाफ ऑफ द डे शुड बी डेडिकेटेड टू ऑप्शनल. देखो, आप हमारे यहाँ ऑप्शनल कर रहे होंगे, कहीं और कर रहे होंगे, खुद से कर रहे होंगे, बट प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड इन योर सिलेक्शन द बिगेस्ट रोल वुड बी प्लेड बाय दिस सब्जेक्ट. दिस में गेट यू 200, दिस में गेट यू 300. वेरिएशन GS में एक अच्छे बच्चे का बहुत सारा नहीं होता. सब मिला के 60-70 नंबर का वेरिएशन हो जाएगा, वो भी बहुत है, बट ऑप्शनल में बहुत ज़्यादा होता है. ऑप्शनल में द क्वालिटी ऑफ आंसर रिक्वायर्ड इज ऑल्सो स्लाइटली डिफरेंट. you need to have more in-depth understanding. So if you let's say get up at 6 in the morning, तो 6 AM to 2 PM में जितना भी at पाओ 6 AM to 2 PM में you will not be able to study for entire 8 hours. But if you are able to study for let's say 4-5 hours in this period, it should be for your optional. Then second half of the day should be for your GS subject, GS and essay. अब आप बोलेंगे कि सर 5 to 9 every day you are taking. नेक्स्ट 70 डेज में जो भी बच्चा मेंस मास्टर्स प्रोग्राम का पार्ट है, फ्रॉम 5 PM to 9 PM, फ्रॉम 5 PM to 6 PM you will be writing answers and will be discussing it, and from 6 PM to 9 PM you will be taking classes. 5 PM to 9 PM तो आप ले रहे हो. फिर when do we do self study? That becomes an issue, right? ये एक कंसर्न आएगा. देखो that is the point. आपके GS 1 2 3 4 को प्रिपेयर करने की जिम्मेदारी किसने ली है? हमने ली है. What you do is 2 बजे से 5 बजे के बीच में लेट्स से यू आर एबल टू फाइंड 1 hour, 1.5 hour. Just before coming to the class, revise everything that you have done in the previous. What this would lead to is when you will be writing those 4 questions every day, you will be like पढ़ा हुआ है जो अभी, क्योंकि questions would be from the previous topic. Then when you go back home, just try to find at least 1 hour जहाँ पे जो भी क्लास में पढ़ा है revise it. And if you are able to find some more time, revise the previous thing. Okay, this should be your study plan. This should be your schedule. Period. अगर आप सुबह 6 बजे से 2 बजे के बीच में 3 घंटे पढ़ सकते हैं, 3 घंटे पढ़िए, 4 घंटे पढ़ सकते हैं, 4 घंटे पढ़िए, 5 घंटे पढ़ सकते हैं, 5 घंटे पढ़िए, 6 घंटे पढ़ सकते हैं, 6 घंटे पढ़िए, but give it to your optional. Do not touch GS at this time. Unless some of you may be like, sir, मेरा optional, I have been getting 300 out of 300, I don't need to prepare for optional. वो आपका call है. But in general, what should be the strategy that you, as a student of mains masters program, be following? ये आपका जनरल प्लान, जनरल शेड्यूल रहना चाहिए. वरना आप में से बहुत सारे लोग बार बार अलग अलग आके मुझसे पूछेंगे कि सर कैसे पढ़ें, क्या पढ़ें, एंड दिस इज द जनरल प्लान, अनलेस यू हैव सम स्पेशल रिक्वायरमेंट, सम स्पेशल सिचुएशन दैट आई विल गिव टू. ओके, ये बात समझ में आ गई? यहाँ पे कोई डाउट है? नाउ लेट मी, बिफोर आई गो टू टुडेज क्लास, लेट मी ब्रीफली ओपन अप द शेड्यूल. देखिए, हमने शेड्यूल में क्या किया है, पूरा GS 1 2 3 4 का सिलेबस मेंशन किया है, एंड व्हेन what is going to be covered. As I told you, on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, what are we doing? उठा लो, कुछ इंपॉर्टेंट होगा नहीं. On Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we are doing GS3 and GS2. GS3 would be taken care of by me. I'm Santosh Kumar. GS2 will be taken care of by Babu sir. Babu sir has cleared this UPSC examination 4 times. मैंने पिछली बार 3 बार बोला था, तो बाबू सर ने मुझे बाद में करेक्ट किया, सर मैंने 4 बार क्लियर किया है. हाँ, उस दिन मैंने पहले वीडियो में बोला 3 बार क्लियर किया है. सर ने कहा यूपीएससी एग्जाम 4 बार, यूपीएससी सिविल सर्विसेज एग्जामिनेशन थ्राइस, 2013, 16, 17, बट उनका 17 का रैंक वाज वर्स देन 16 का रैंक, तो वो 16 तक ही बताते हैं. Okay, anyways, so he is someone who has qualified this exam consistently, who has done very well, and since last 8 years पूरे dedication से पढ़ा ही रहे हैं. He is not someone who has joined the service. Okay, so he is an excellent teacher, to the point, काम की बातें करने वाले टीचर, ऑनलाइन बकैती करने वाले टीचर नहीं. आपको एकदम एग्जाम सेंट्रिक जो चीज़ें चाहेंगी, आप उनसे अच्छा गवर्नेंस कहीं नहीं पड़ेगा. जैसे पॉलिटी, हिस्ट्री, ज्योग्राफी, पॉलिटी, इकोनॉमी, आप लोग ना प्रीलिम्स के टाइम भी बहुत पढ़ रहे हो तो आप लोगों को लगता है आता है, बट गवर्नेंस, सोशल जस्टिस, दीज आर सम एरियाज विच वी जनरली एंड अप इग्नोरिंग. वी हैव, अभी मैं शेड्यूल खोलूंगा, उसमें इक्वल वेटेज मिलेगा. तो थर्सडे, फ्राइडे, सैटरडे, संडे विल बी गिविंग टू GS2 एंड GS3. मंडे, ट्यूसडे, वेंसडे विल फर्स्ट बी गिविंग टू GS1. एक बार GS1 कंप्लीट हो जाएगा, देन विल गो टू GS. एक बार GS1 पूरा हो जाएगा, देन विल गो टू GS4. आपको यहाँ पे 1 सितंबर तक का पूरा प्लान मिलेगा. फॉर दोज ऑफ यू हु आर वॉचिंग इट ऑनलाइन, प्लीज गो इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ द वीडियो. डिस्क्रिप्शन ऑफ द वीडियो में आपको आज के नोट्स भी मिल जाएंगे और ये पूरा प्लान भी मिल जाएगा. यू विल सी, देखो थर्सडे, फ्राइडे, सैटरडे, संडे वी हैव गिवन फॉर GS3, GS2. टुडे आई एम स्टार्टिंग विद GS3 एंड इन GS3 आई जनरली स्टार्ट विद इकोनॉमी. GS3 में मैं जनरली हर साल इकोनॉमी से शुरू करता हूँ, बट दिस ईयर आई एम नॉट स्टार्टिंग विद इकोनॉमी. द रीजन बीइंग आई वांट टू वेट फॉर बजट एंड इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ऑफ. देखो इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया से ना कई बार ऐसा होता है, आउट ऑफ 8 क्वेश्चंस, 9 क्वेश्चंस दैट यू गेट इन इकोनॉमी, 4-5 क्वेश्चंस कम जस्ट फ्रॉम इकोनॉमिक सर्वे ऑफ इंडिया. So before that, if I finish your economy, then it will be incomplete. It would be problematic, and that is why I want to wait for budget economic survey of India before starting your economics preparation. And we are starting with science and technology. Today and tomorrow we have dedicated for the syllabus of science and technology. You will see फिर polity and constitution का ये वाला portion बाबू सर 22nd 23rd सैटरडे संडे को लेंगे. एंड देन वी हैव हिस्ट्री. मंडे, ट्यूसडे, वेंसडे में हम GS1 में जा रहे हैं. अगेन आई एम गिविंग 2 days फॉर एनवायरमेंट. तो आपके सिलेबस में जो जो लिखा हुआ है उन सबको हमने यहाँ पे लिस्ट किया है जो हमें कवर करके देना है. ये हमारी जिम्मेदारी है. ओके, नाउ यू मे हैव अ क्वेश्चन कि सर आप अभी साइंस पढ़ा दोगे, बट साइंस में कई बार वो क्वेश्चन आते हैं जो 3 महीने में हो रहे हैं. डोंट वरी, आई विल कीप गिविंग यू अपडेट्स, बट दोज अपडेट्स वुड नॉट बी इन दीज क्लासेस. ये सारी क्लासेस शेड्यूल्ड हैं, है ना. वी डू नॉट हैव, देखो आपके सिलेबस में 70 बुलेट पॉइंट्स हैं. GS 1 2 3 4 देखोगे ना, उसमें से अगर हर रोज एक बुलेट पॉइंट कवर करने का प्रॉमिस होगा तो वो भी 3 hours में, दैट इज अ वेरी डिफिकल्ट टास्क टू डू. वी विल डू इट बिकॉज विल फॉलो सम स्ट्रैटेजी, विल एनालाइज PYQs एंड अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट आर द मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट एरियाज. उसके अलावा विल अपलोड सम करंट अफेयर्स वीडियोस फॉर यू. यहाँ पे भी करंट अफेयर्स करूंगा मैं, जितना अब मैं साइंस टेक पढ़ा रहा हूं तो जो अप्रैल मई तक का करंट अफेयर्स है वो विल बी टेकन केयर ऑफ. बट इवन बियॉन्ड दैट, व्हेन साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी में कोई डेवलपमेंट होता है जो मेंस के लिए इंपॉर्टेंट है, व्हेन दैट वुड कम, आई विल अपलोड सम वीडियोस. आई मे टेक सम एक्स्ट्रा क्लास बियॉन्ड दिस 5 to 9 वाला शेड्यूल. मे बी 2 to 5 के में आपको बुला लेंगे कि आ जाओ, साइंस एंड टेक के 5-6 और टॉपिक्स आ गए, उसे भी कर लेते हैं. गॉट इट. तो ये पूरा शेड्यूल है, ये शेड्यूल आप देखिए, शेड्यूल आप समझिए. अगर आप मेंस मास्टर्स प्रोग्राम ज्वाइन करेंगे तो स्टिक टू दिस शेड्यूल. आप अपने टेस्ट सीरीज का भी प्लान ऐसे ही करें. ओके, इन दीज 70 days हर रोज हम 3-4 आंसर लिखेंगे. यू विल बी राइटिंग 210 to 280 आंसर्स. लेट्स अस्यूम किसी दिन 3, किसी दिन 4, तो यू विल बी राइटिंग 250 आंसर्स. 250 आंसर्स आर इक्वल टू 12 पेपर्स, 12 full-fledged papers. But I'm not saying that you should not be writing test series. You should still be writing test series. हर संडे को आपको 2 टेस्ट लिखने हैं, एक कौन सा, ऑप्शनल का, और एक GS का. If you are someone who has written mains in the past, तो full GS के टेस्ट लिखना शुरू कर दीजिए. If you are not someone who has written mains in the past, then sectional टेस्ट लेके लिखना शुरू करिए. But हर संडे को टेस्ट लिखने का भी प्लान अपने शेड्यूल में रखिएगा. This will be enough for your entire civil services preparation. Optional, ये और ये. Optional subjects, classes for GS के test. This will be enough for your preparation. Are we getting it? Are we all very clear about हम क्या करने वाले हैं, कैसे करने वाले हैं? Okay, so let me take you to today's class. अर्पित is asking, sir, इस क्लास की रिकॉर्डिंग रहेगी यूट्यूब पे? हाँ, क्यों नहीं रहेगी? I tried calling and texting LevelUp IAS from front desk to take admission for history optional test series but did not receive any response. यार अभी ना बहुत सारे लोग, बहुत भीड़ है, तो कुछ मिस हो जाता है, तो शाम को by end of the day they will give you a call. अभी क्या हो रहा है ना, somehow हमारे पास मेंस में सबसे ज़्यादा बच्चे पढ़ने आते हैं. ऐसे जनता को पता नहीं होता है कि वी आर अ गुड इंस्टीट्यूशन. 1-2 साल यहाँ रह लेते हैं तो उनको पता चल जाता है कि वी आर अ गुड इंस्टीट्यूशन. तो मेंस में हमारे पास सबसे ज़्यादा बच्चे पढ़ने आते हैं. अभी हमारे पास सबसे ज़्यादा क्राउड होता है, सबसे ज़्यादा फ़ोन कॉल्स आ रहे होते हैं. आप लोगों को भी जब आपने दिल्ली में प्रिपरेशन करने आए थे, जब दिल्ली में GS फाउंडेशन पढ़ने कहीं पे 2 लाख रुपए दे रहे थे, आप लोगों को लेवल अप के बारे में पता नहीं था. आप जब यहाँ पे रह लिए, पैसे वैसे बर्बाद कर लिए, तब आप लोगों को लेवल अप के बारे में पता लगा. और इसीलिए मेंस के टाइम हमारे पास बहुत सारे बच्चे आते हैं. बाई मेंस पीपल गेट टू नो कि वी आर अ गुड इंस्टीट्यूशन, वी आर एन एक्सीलेंट इंस्टीट्यूशन. तो अभी ना बस इस वर्कलोड की वजह से कुछ कॉल्स में हैव बीन मिस्ड, दे विल कॉल यू बैक. Okay, let's go to today's class. शुड आई टेक यू थ्रू द एंटायर शेड्यूल? शेड्यूल तो आप देख लोगे, है ना, सारे ग्रेजुएट लोग हो, प्री पास कर रहे होगे, आई एम अज्यूमिंग, शेड्यूल आप देख लेंगे। लेट मी जस्ट टेक यू टू आज की क्लास। अब आज की क्लास ना, आज की क्लास एक फुल फ्लेजेड क्लास नहीं, जैसे मैंने आपको बोला कल जब आप आओगे सबसे पहले आंसर लिखना शुरू करोगे, उसके बाद बहुत सारे और टॉपिक्स करेंगे हम। आज की क्लास में मैं आपको रफली ब्रॉड आइडिया देना चाहता हूं व्हाट आर ऑल द थिंग्स दैट विल बी डूइंग इन एवरी क्लास। जैसे फॉर टुडे एंड टुमारो व्हाट इज द सिलेबस, these are the 2 bullet points of GS3 that we want to cover. Now before we go to study anything, we will look at all the PYQs. In every class we will look at PYQs from that area. That will help us understand. हम क्यों बोल रहे हैं कि कम टाइम में 70 डेज में 70 bullet points of the syllabus complete करना है, वो we will be able to do if we clearly understand what UPSC focuses upon. देखो प्रीलिम्स में कोई सिलेबस नहीं होता, आप में से जो लोग प्रीलिम्स में साइंस मुझसे पढ़े हैं उनको 400-500 पेजेस के नोट्स मिले हुए, राइट, पागल हो गए थे पढ़ते पढ़ते। जो लोग एनवायरनमेंट पढ़े हैं वो, बट मेंस में सिलेबस है और वहीं से क्वेश्चंस आते हैं। मेंस में इतने नोट्स नहीं होते, मेंस में हमें 150 वर्ड्स 250 वर्ड्स लिखना है। कोई भी टॉपिक अगर 1-2 पेज से ज्यादा बड़ा हो रहा है वो यूजलेस है, सिंपल ये रूल रखो। अगर आप 150-200 वर्ड 250 वर्ड्स लिखने हैं, एनी टॉपिक इज बिकमिंग बिगर देन दैट, देन इट्स वेस्ट ऑफ टाइम। अपने मेमोरी में वो एक्स्ट्रा इंफॉर्मेशन रखनी ही नहीं है, क्योंकि आपको 150 वर्ड्स ही लिखने हैं या 250 वर्ड्स ही लिखने हैं। एंड दैट इज व्हाई वी विल एनालाइज क्वेश्चंस इन एवरी क्लास। वी विल लुक एट व्हाट आर द एरियाज व्हिच आर बीइंग आस्क्ड। और जैसे साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी की बात करें, आज हम साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी से शुरू कर रहे हैं, तो इन लास्ट 11 years आई एम कंसिडरिंग द पीरियड फ्रॉम 2013 टू 2023। 2013 में सिलेबस चेंज हुआ था, नया सिलेबस आया था, तब से 2013 टू 2023 में there have been 11 papers. In 11 years there have been 40 questions which have been asked. मैं सारे questions भी लिस्ट किए हैं, but this is the distribution. Space and astronomy has given you 8 question. Biotechnology and health has given you 8 question. सिलेबस में सिर्फ बायोटेक्नोलॉजी है, बट हेल्थ से भी क्वेश्चन आए। Then computer IT electronics 5, robotics 1, nanotech 2, nuclear science and technology 2. Now nuclear science and technology is not mentioned in the syllabus, but energy sector ये सारी चीजें mentioned है। They have given 2 questions from there. Intellectual property rights, which we tend to ignore at the time of mains examination, has also given you 4 questions. Defense से एक क्वेश्चन आया है। Then general promoting science and technology and research, उससे 1 question has been asked. You can, in fact robotics वाला question was also from this area, तो अभी हम क्वेश्चन देखेंगे तो समझेंगे। एंड फाइनली देयर आर सम मिसलेनियस एरियाज व्हिच आर नॉट मेंशन इन द सिलेबस। अब यूपीएससी किसी साइंटिस्ट के बारे में पूछ लेती है, वो वैसे भी वी हैव 7-8 क्वेश्चंस फ्रॉम द एरिया। लेट अस लुक एट सेक्शन वाइज ईच ऑफ द क्वेश्चन एंड अंडरस्टैंड हमें किन एरियाज पे फोकस करना है। जब यूपीएससी इन डेप्थ क्वेश्चन पूछ रहा है, जैसे लास्ट ईयर चंद्रयान पे इन डेप्थ क्वेश्चन आया था, इट वाज नॉट ओनली व्हाट इज द ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ चंद्रयान, they wanted to you to know various components of Chandrayaan. बच्चे बोलते हैं यार ये तो प्रीलिम्स के टाइम पढ़ते हैं, मेंस में ये सब क्यों पूछ रहे हैं? वो इसलिए पूछ रहे हैं क्योंकि जो ये 3 महीने में हो रही है ना चीजें, प्रीलिम्स और मेंस के बीच में जो चीजें हो रही हैं, वो यू शुड नो इन मोर डिटेल। बट समथिंग दैट हैज हैपेंड नाउ टुडे व्हेन वी विल स्टडी चंद्रयान, वी विल नॉट स्टडी एवरी कंपोनेंट ऑफ चंद्रयान, वी विल स्टडी इट मोर फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ चंद्रयान 4.0 में लैंडिंग कैसे करोगे। अब उन कंपोनेंट्स में जाने की जरूरत नहीं है। ओके, तो लेट अस लुक एट, लेट अस एनालाइज दीस क्वेश्चंस एंड अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज द फोकस एरिया दैट वी हैव टू लुक एट। मैंने सारे 40 क्वेश्चंस सेग्रीगेट, टॉपिक वाइज सेग्रीगेट करके यहाँ पे दिए हैं आपको। अगेन ये ना बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जिसमें हम बहुत टाइम वेस्ट करते हैं, नहीं करना है। आपके GS 1, 2, 3, 4 की प्रिपरेशन की जिम्मेदारी, अगर if you will be joining mains masters program, will be of LevelUp IAS. We will ensure syllabus, emphasis on syllabus, कि syllabus cover हो रहा है. We will ensure that PYQs are listed. We will ensure basics of those areas, important aspects are covered. We will ensure current affairs. LevelUp तो current affairs की वजह से आप लोग जानते ही होंगे हमें, है ना? Current affairs would be covered. ये सारी चीजें आप कर लेते हो ना, आपके प्रिपरेशन में यही कोर चीजें हैं जिनको ध्यान रखना हो। सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट होता है सिलेबस ध्यान रखना। If you cover each and everything mentioned in the syllabus, your preparation is half done. If you do half done, not fully done, because syllabus के बाहर से भी बहुत सारी चीजें आ जाती हैं। तो syllabus के बाहर और क्या पढ़ना है, उस पर फोकस करने के लिए हम PYQs देखते हैं। जैसे आप मेक दिस रूल इवन फॉर योर ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट्स। जैसे ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट्स में आपने ना किसी कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट के नोट्स पढ़े, किसी कोचिंग इंस्टीट्यूट में क्लासेस कर ली, आपकी प्रिपरेशन हो गई, आप सिलेबस देखिए, सिलेबस का कोई पोर्शन रह गया उसे पढ़ लीजिए, देन गो टू PYQs। In spite of having those notes, you're not able to do some PYQ. बस उतना पोर्शन अपने नोट्स में डालिए जिससे वो PYQ हो जाएगा, nothing else. Sometimes we end up reading a new book altogether. Sometimes we end up becoming researchers rather than aspirants. एस्पिरेंट बनने का ना एक सिंपल सा फंडा ध्यान में रखना, जितनी जरूरत है उतना काम करो और आगे जाओ, नहीं तो टीचर बन जाओगे, एस्पिरेंट नहीं, सिविल सर्वेंट नहीं। मैं आपको बता रहा हूं अपने एक्सपीरियंस से, मैंने एंशिएंट मिडिवल कल्चर एक हार्ड तरीके से पढ़ाई करी थी, बाकी मॉडर्न वर्ल्ड पढ़ा ही नहीं था। एंशिएंट मिडिवल कल्चर में जाके टीचर से बदतमीजी करता रहता था, आपको ये नहीं आता, ये नहीं आता, ये नहीं आता, क्योंकि मैंने बहुत पढ़ाई करी थी, है ना ऐसा। और अपने अपने ईगो को सेटिस्फाई कर रहा था कि मेरे से ज्यादा किसी को नहीं आता। उससे क्या हुआ, टीचर बन गया, है ना। आपको अगर सिविल सर्वेंट बनना है, सिंपल, लिमिट योर स्टडीज। 150 वर्ड 250 वर्ड्स में आंसर लिखने, इतना ही पढ़ना है, इतना ही जानना है। आज पहली क्लास है, दैट्स व्हाई आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट ऑल दीज थिंग्स। कल से जब हम एकदम पढ़ाई की सीधे आके पढ़ना शुरू करेंगे, बट ये कुछ कोर चीजें हैं। अभी हम आंसर राइटिंग के बारे में भी कुछ समझेंगे, कुछ करेंगे, कुछ लिखेंगे। बट लेट अस लुक एट द क्वेश्चन। स्पेस से कौन से क्वेश्चन है? लास्ट ईयर व्हाट इज द मेन टास्क ऑफ इंडियाज थर्ड मून मिशन? लैंडिंग वाला पार्ट था जो पहले नहीं कर पाए। देन list the countries that have achieved this task. Now the answer for this question last year would have been different from the answer for this question this year. अभी जापान भी आ गया है, which has landed, and then some private companies have also landed on the moon. Then introduce the subsystems in the spacecraft launched and explain the role of देखो, introduce the subsystems. Now आपको लैंडर और रोवर में और भी जो पेलोड्स हैं उसके बारे में भी पूछ ली। बट डू वी हैव टू डू इट फॉर एवरी स्पेस प्रोग्राम? नो, दिस इज समथिंग दैट हैड हैपेंड अ मंथ बिफोर योर मेंस। उस टाइम जो चीजें आई हैं हमें डिटेल में पढ़नी है। व्हाट इज दिस क्वेश्चन टेलिंग यू? दिस ईयर व्हेन वी विल स्टडी चंद्रयान, डू वी हैव टू गो इन द डिटेल्स ऑफ इट्स कंपोनेंट्स? नो, हम फ्यूचर क्या है उस पर ज्यादा फोकस कर रहे होंगे, राइट? तो दिस क्वेश्चन विल हेल्प, दीज क्वेश्चंस विल हेल्प यू। आपको किस चीज को डिटेल में पढ़ना है, किसको एनालिटिकल पर्सपेक्टिव से पढ़ना है। यहाँ पे बहुत फैक्चुअल चीजें पूछ ली, आपसे पूछ लिया व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ विक्रम साराभाई स्पेस सेंटर, व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ वर्चुअल व्हाट इज द रोल ऑफ वर्चुअल लॉन्च कंट्रोल सेंटर एट द विक्रम साराभाई स्पेस सेंटर। ये सारी चीजें, बिकॉज इट इज समथिंग दैट्स हैपनिंग इन दीज 3 months, you should briefly know about them. So when we'll study a topic which is from an issue in these 3 months, we'll study that in slightly more details. When we'll study a topic which is 1 year old, we will look at the just 150 words के perspective से कि भाई इसमें ये 5 dimension है, 5 problems है, 5 solutions है, इस पे focus कर। ठीक है, let's come to Mains 2022। वहां पे भी space से question पूछा था। Launched on 25th December 2021, James Webb Space Telescope has been much in the news since then. What are its unique features which make it superior to the predecessor space telescope? What are the key goals of this mission? What are the potential benefit does it hold for human race? देखो यहाँ पे ना कहीं बहुत डिटेल में नहीं गए। जेम्स वेब स्पेस टेलीस्कोप के बारे में बात करोगे तो एट द टाइम ऑफ प्रिलिमिनरी एग्जामिनेशन आपने जो पढ़ा होगा वो भी आप उससे आप ये आंसर कर सकते थे। वैसे वी स्टडीड इट एट द टाइम ऑफ मेंस आल्सो, बट यू कुड हैव सेड यूनिक फीचर, इट हैज द लार्जेस्ट स्पेस मिरर दैट हैज एवर गॉन इनटू स्पेस, है ना। इट इज फोकस्ड ऑन इंफ्रारेड, इंफ्रारेड के अपने एडवांटेजेस हैं। इट इज लोकेटेड ऑन लैग्रेंजियन पॉइंट 2, तो वो उनके स्पेशल फीचर्स थे। तो बाकी जनरल चीजें पूछी हुई हैं बिकॉज इट्स 1 year old. Come to the next question, 2019. In 2021 they did not ask question from space. In 2019 they had asked what is India's plan to have its own space station and how will it benefit our space program. Now if you come here or this question number 5, 3 and 5 दोनों देखोगे, it was not about what is happening at that time, it was about future. पता है इंडिया का स्पेस प्रोग्राम, इंडिया का स्पेस स्टेशन पे डिस्कशन भी नहीं हो रहा था उस टाइम न्यूज में, बट स्टिल दे हैड आस्क्ड अ क्वेश्चन ऑन इंडिया अपना स्पेस स्टेशन बनाने के लिए क्या कर रहा है 2019। अभी तो डिस्कशन हो रहा है, अभी तो प्राइम मिनिस्टर मोदी हैज सेड दैट विल हैव आवर स्पेस स्टेशन बाय 2036 ऐसा, और वी विल बी सेंडिंग लैंडिंग ह्यूमंस ऑन मून बाय 2040 ऐसे टारगेट्स दिए गए। बट उस टाइम डिस्कशन भी नहीं हो रहा था, ना तो ये स्पेस स्टेशन वाला और ना ही ये, सॉरी दिस वन। इंडिया हैज अचीव्ड रिमार्केबल सक्सेस इन चंद्रयान, मार्स ऑर्बिटर मिशन, बट हैज नॉट वेंचर्ड इनटू मैन्ड स्पेस मिशन। आपको पता है गगनयान का पहली बार अनाउंसमेंट कब हुआ? 2018 इंडिपेंडेंस डे स्पीच, where Prime Minister Modi said that by 2020 we'll be sending humans to space. But in 2017 they had asked a question. So again, what will we focus upon? We'll focus upon मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट करंट अफेयर्स, जैसे चंद्रयान, जेम्स वेब स्पेस टेलीस्कोप, ये उस टाइम के करंट अफेयर्स से सबसे बड़े वाले प्रोजेक्ट थे। तो हम इस साल जो इंडिया ने बड़े प्रोजेक्ट्स लॉन्च किए हैं, कौन कौन से हैं? आदित्य L1, अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट वन, एक्सपोसैट, अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट वन, विल फोकस ऑन दैट। इसका मतलब ये नहीं कि हम चंद्रयान नहीं पढ़ेंगे, जेम्स वेब स्पेस टेलीस्कोप नहीं पढ़ेंगे, वो भी पढ़ेंगे, बट टाइम नहीं मिला तो उसके बस नोट्स दे देंगे, बिकॉज व्हाट इज इंपॉर्टेंट जो उस साल लॉन्च हो रहा है, दिस पेपर इज टेलिंग अस दैट। देन फ्यूचर, टू ऑफ द क्वेश्चंस आर अबाउट फ्यूचर, है ना। तो इंडिया का स्पेस स्टेशन का क्या प्रोग्राम है, चंद्रयान 4.0 में क्या करने वाले हैं, these are certain things that we are going to study here, because these are the areas that UPSC tends to focus upon. Then if you come to fourth, why is Indian regional navigation satellite system needed? अच्छा, यहाँ पे एक चीज और नोटिस करो, this question was asked in GS1, this question was not asked in GS3, दो साइंस एंड टेक के फॉर्म पर्सपेक्टिव से आंसर कर सकते थे, बट वहां पे ना थोड़ा ज्योग्राफिकल डायमेंशन भी डालना जरूरी था कि वो कैसे उसके एप्लीकेशन में थोड़े, एक तो स्पेस बेस्ड एप्लीकेशन है और थोड़े सिविलियन एप्लीकेशन पे फोकस करना जरूरी। Got it? This was a question that was asked in GS1. If you come here, Juno mission of NASA. This was also asked in GS1. Now Juno mission was in news at that time. James Webb Space Telescope 2022 में न्यूज में था, उन्होंने पूछा। जूनो मिशन उस टाइम न्यूज में था, उन्होंने पूछा। अब हम जूनो मिशन के बारे में नहीं पढ़ेंगे, हम पढ़ेंगे आर्टेमिस प्रोग्राम के बारे में। We'll make a question on Artemis program. We'll try to understand what is the goal, what is it trying to achieve, and some other programs which are going on right now, which are in news right now. We will cover those things. Then discuss India's achievement in the field of space science and technology. ये general question. तो यहाँ पे भी ना हम एक topic पढ़ेंगे कल, where we'll list all the major achievements of India, just एक line में, so that these kind of questions, if they get asked, we will be able to tackle them. How the application of these technology helped India in socio-economic development. एक और चीज जो हम पढ़ेंगे, एक टॉपिक जो हम पढ़ेंगे वो ये होगा स्पेस साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी का socio-economic application. वो in general can be used in your essays, can be used in other answers also, and ये PYQ को भी cater करेगा. Then what do you understand by standard positioning system? देखो IRNSS पे क्वेश्चन 2018 में they asked, 2015 में भी they had asked. What do you understand by standard positioning system and positioning system in GPS era? Discuss the advantages India perceives from its ambitious IRNSS program employing just 7 satellites. अब 7 satellites वाली बात है, but now India has come up with IRNSS satellites are being replaced by what? NVS, navigation satellite. These are next generation satellites. NVS 01 already launch हो चुका है. In 2023 May, I think it was launched, right? So we will talk about that also. So ये PYQs हमें help करते हैं in identifying the areas. Not all these PYQs are relevant for us. हमें जूनो के बारे में सब कुछ जानने की बिल्कुल जरूरत नहीं है। GPS signal lost. Okay, जूनो के बारे में जानने की बिल्कुल जरूरत नहीं है। हमने जब सैटनैव सिस्टम पढ़ा था, वी स्टडीड अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स अबाउट इट, बट यहाँ पे वी विल स्टडी दैट टॉपिक इन सच अ मैनर दैट एक पेज में वो नोट्स हो जाए, 1.5 पेज में वो नोट्स हो जाए, दैट्स इट। बिकॉज फॉर मेंस एग्जामिनेशन 150 वर्ड्स से 250 वर्ड्स, विल नॉट वरी अबाउट निटी ग्रिटीज। जब आपको याद हो प्रीलिम्स के टाइम जब मैंने एक्सपोसैट पढ़ाया था, तो पहले मैंने पढ़ाया पोलराइजेशन क्या होता है, पोलरॉइड ग्लासेस क्या होती हैं, उसकी क्या एप्लीकेशंस होती हैं, है ना, क्यों हम ट्रैकिंग पे जाते हैं तो पोलरॉइड ग्लासेस पहनते हैं। ये सब ज्ञानबाजी यहाँ जरूरत नहीं है, बिकॉज प्री में तो कुछ भी पूछ लेते हैं ना। आपने देखा इस साल प्री में दे हैव आस्क्ड एवरीथिंग एंड एनीथिंग, राइट, बट मेंस में सिलेबस है, इंपॉर्टेंट एरियाज हैं, उस पे 150 वर्ड से 250 वर्ड्स लिखना है, एंड देयरफॉर आवर नोट्स विल बी वेरी कंसाइज, वेरी लिमिटेड, कोई भी टॉपिक 1 पेज 2 पेज से ज्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए। ओके, फिनिशर इज आस्किंग सर जीएस फाउंडेशन वालों को एमएमपी परचेस करना होगा क्या? भाई एक बात सुनो, आपको एक साल पहले ही बोल दिया गया, वंस यू आर पार्ट ऑफ जीएस फाउंडेशन प्रोग्राम एट लेवल अप, आपको पूरी लाइफ में कोई कोर्स परचेज नहीं करना है। इफ यू आर अ स्टूडेंट ऑफ जीएस फाउंडेशन प्रोग्राम, आपको एमएमपी कोई परचेज नहीं करना, सब कुछ आपके लिए एक्सेसिबल है। दिस इज वन ऑफ द की थिंग्स दैट वी हैव बीन सेइंग फ्रॉम द वेरी फर्स्ट डे। इफ यू आर अ स्टूडेंट ऑफ जीएस फाउंडेशन प्रोग्राम, आपने अगर 2023-24 वाला जीएस फाउंडेशन प्रोग्राम लिया था ना, आपको टेस्ट सीरीज परचेज करना है ना आपको एमएमपी परचेज करना है, एवरीथिंग इज पार्ट ऑफ योर प्रोग्राम। योर एंटायर प्रिपरेशन अदर देन योर ऑप्शनल सब्जेक्ट इज आवर रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी। ओके, तो नहीं करना है। हाँ, एक ना एक there's one more small thing that I want to focus upon this time. Like I'll come to these questions again. This year, for those of you who are writing mains, आप में से sometimes students who are not writing mains also take admission in this batch or also continue with this batch. For those of you who are writing mains, if you attempt your test on the schedule on Sunday, जब उस टेस्ट का शेड्यूल है, I will personally evaluate it on Monday. इस बार I have reduced my workload drastically. Last year I was teaching both GS3 and GS2. This year I have confined my work to GS3. Last year I had started taking GS foundation classes. इस साल मैंने बोला मेरी क्लासेस सब अक्टूबर में करो, so that I can focus on your answer. So if you are joining a test series at LevelUp IAS, अगर आप उसे शेड्यूल पे अटेम्प्ट करोगे तो मैं खुद इवेल्युएट करूंगा, आपके साथ बैठ के भी इवेल्युएट। मंडे को आप पेपर लेके आ जाइए, I will sit with you and I will personally evaluate it, though it will take 1.5 hours. हम 1.5 hours बैठ के एक एक क्वेश्चन को समझेंगे, इम्प्रूव करेंगे, बिकॉज आई पर्सनली फील, जो मेरा ओवर द लास्ट 7-8 years ऑफ टीचिंग एक्सपीरियंस है, मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट देन हैविंग अ लॉट ऑफ नॉलेज इन मेंस एग्जामिनेशन इज हाउ यू आर प्रेजेंटिंग, राइटिंग दैट थिंग, एंड आई वॉन्ट टू फोकस ऑन दैट. Sometimes I see, even after studying for 3 months, even after knowing everything, students end up screwing their papers because अभी भी वो इंट्रो इतना बड़ा सा लिख रहे हैं, अभी वो समझ नहीं पाए कि यार जो कोर ऑफ द क्वेश्चन है उस पर फोकस करना. कुछ लोग ऑनलाइन वीडियोस में देख लेते हैं, डायग्राम्स बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, पूरे आंसर में डायग्राम भर देते हैं. भाई डायग्राम इंपॉर्टेंट है, बट दैट इज टू राइट समथिंग, टेल समथिंग, जो ना आप फटाफट बता के निकल जाना चाहते हो. अपने कोर आंसर में को डायग्राम से बताओगे? नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं. राइट, डायग्राम बेनिफिट करते हैं तो कहां पे यूज करना है? आई वांट टू फोकस ऑन ऑल दोज थिंग्स ऑल्सो. तो फॉर दोज ऑफ यू हु आर राइटिंग मेंस दिस ईयर, मैं आपका पेपर खुद इवैल्यूएट करूंगा. मंडे ट्यूसडे, आई डू नॉट हैव एनी क्लास ऑन मंडे ट्यूसडे वेंसडे, ये तीनों दिन कोई क्लासेस नहीं है. मैं अवेलेबल रहूंगा फॉर इवैल्यूएटिंग योर पेपर, बट बिकॉज आई वॉन्ट यू टू बी वेरी डिसिप्लिन कि संडे को आके टेस्ट लिखना है. आई एम टेलिंग यू, आप संडे को टेस्ट लिखोगे, मंडे को मैं इवैल्यूएट करूंगा. राइट, आई डू नॉट वॉन्ट दैट कोई वो बच्चा जो इस बार मेंस नहीं लिख पा रहा है क्योंकि प्री में पास नहीं हो पा रहा है, वो आपका पेपर इवैल्यूएट करे. जनरली ये होता है सब जगह, हमारे यहाँ ये नहीं होगा. आई विल पर्सनली इवैल्यूएट इट. अदरवाइज उसके बाद आप अगर लेट लिखते हो, वो सब होता है, तो हरीश सर विल बी इवैल्यूएटिंग योर पेपर. ये सीन होगा. ठीक है, तो हम खुद इवैल्यूएट करके आपको देंगे, बट आपको मेरे साथ मेंटरिंग करनी है, मेरे साथ इवैल्यूएशन करवाना है, तो क्या करिए, आप आ जाइए डिसिप्लिन तरीके से संडे को टेस्ट. अपना संडे को टेस्ट लिखिए, आप सबमिट भी करके जाएंगे, मैं आपको नेक्स्ट डे टाइम बता दूंगा, इस टाइम आ जाओ, आपके साथ बैठ के इवैल्यूएट कर. और नहीं भी रहोगे तब भी मैं खुद आपको इवैल्यूएट करके आपको फोन पे ले लूंगा या दूसरे तरीके से समझा. ओके, तो कम बैक टू दिस. हाँ, मैं आंसर राइटिंग वाले में थोड़ा सा फिर से चला गया कि इफ यू आर राइटिंग means this year, I will be your mentor, I will be your evaluator, no one else would be doing it. So did we look at the space के questions, 8 question? Did we understand what are the areas that we have to focus upon? We have to focus upon पिछले एक साल में जो important missions गए हैं. We have to focus upon some general things, space का application in science and technology, and we have to focus in details on something that has happened in these 3 months. उसके हम निटी ग्रिटीज, जो फैक्चुअल, जो लगेगा यार ये फैक्चुअल चीजें क्यों पढ़ रहे हैं, हम वो भी देख लेंगे. राइट, इनफैक्ट अभी हम जब कुछ प्रैक्टिस क्वेश्चंस देखेंगे, वहां यू विल सी फॉर एक्सपोसैट और फॉर आदित्य L1 मैंने ये फैक्चुअल चीजें भी क्वेश्चन में डाल दी है. तो दैट थोड़ा सा इंट्रोड्यूस करने को बोला था, डिटेल नहीं पूछी थी, यू जस्ट हैव टू नो द नेम एंड वन लाइन अबाउट इट। ओके, लेट्स कम टू बायोटेक्नोलॉजी एंड हेल्थ। देखो सिलेबस में बायोटेक्नोलॉजी है, हेल्थ इज इन GS2, बट दे हैव आस्क्ड क्वेश्चंस ऑन बोथ बायोटेक्नोलॉजी इन हेल्थ इन GS3 पेपर। Increase in life expectancy in the country has led to newer health challenges in the community. What are those challenges and what steps need to be taken to meet them? तो elderlies को क्या health challenges face करने पड़ रहे हैं and how are we solving them? That is being asked. This could have been a question in social justice. This could have been a question in society. This could have been a question in they have asked this as a question in science and technology. Then vaccine development. Vaccine development is very important for this year. Though it was asked in 2022, why is it important for this year? mRNA वैक्सीन को क्या मिला है? नोबेल प्राइज मिला है। तो एक टॉपिक हम वैक्सीन डेवलपमेंट पे थॉरली करेंगे, एक स्पेसिफिकली mRNA वैक्सीन पे करेंगे। If you have to write an answer in 150 or 250 words on mRNA vaccine, what are the core things that we have to focus upon? Then, what are the research and development achievement in applied biotechnology? You'll understand what applied biotechnology is. एंड ये डिफरेंट अलग अलग तरीके कौन कौन से बायोटेक्नोलॉजी होती है एंड द की अचीवमेंट्स देयर। हाउ कैन बायोटेक्नोलॉजी इंप्रूव लिविंग स्टैंडर्ड्स ऑफ फार्मर्स? बेसिकली बायोटेक्नोलॉजी के एप्लीकेशन इन एग्रीकल्चर सेक्टर है ना। इससे हमें ये समझ में आ रहा है कि दे कैन आस्क सेक्टर स्पेसिफिक एप्लीकेशन ऑफ बायोटेक्नोलॉजी। one thing is they just ask application of biotechnology, one is sector specific application. So we should be able to write those answers also. Biotechnology's application in health sector. एग्रीकल्चर फार्मर्स के लिए पूछा है, बायोटेक्नोलॉजी का एप्लीकेशन इन हेल्थ सेक्टर, बायोटेक्नोलॉजी का एप्लीकेशन इन एनवायरमेंट सेक्टर, बायोटेक्नोलॉजी का एप्लीकेशन इन इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर. We should be in a position to write all those answers and we will cover all those things in class. Along with, जैसे हम जब एनवायरमेंट सेक्टर में विल टॉक अबाउट बायोटेक्नोलॉजी का एप्लीकेशन, वील इंश्योर दैट लेटेस्ट करंट अपडेट, latest example is in your answer. Why are we looking at these PYQs? Because we want to understand कि किन एरियाज पे फोकस करना है. मैं हर क्लास में ये नहीं करूंगा, हर क्लास में मैं खुद से पहले से एनालाइज करके आ जाऊंगा और आपको सारी चीजें पढ़ाऊंगा. बट here I'm trying to explain you the process that I will follow to identify the areas to teach you, so that आप समझो कि क्यों कुछ पढ़ाया जा रहा है और क्यों फालतू की चीजें नहीं पढ़ाई जा रही है. राइट. देन why is there so much activity in the field of biotechnology in our country? How has the activity benefited the field of biopharma? So biotechnology in biopharma they have asked. Then stem cell therapy pe question they have asked. Antibiotics, overuse of antibiotics, antibiotic antimicrobial resistance pe questions they have asked. Then fixed drug combination. What do you understand by fixed drug combination? Discuss their merits and demerits. In fact अभी 2-3 दिन पहले ही न्यूज में था, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया हैज अगेन बैंड सम FDCs. न्यूज में भी है, PYQ में भी है. पढ़ेंगे FDCs पे एक बेसिक क्वेश्चन प्रिपेयर करके रखेंगे. इफ दे आस्क ऑल वेल एंड गुड, नहीं पूछेंगे कोई बात नहीं. कहां से पूछोगे? सब पढ़ के जाएंगे, कहां से पूछोगे? ओके, नाउ so these are the 8 questions that they have asked from biotechnology. Then computer IT electronics. Now computer IT electronics, I'm surprised by the fact that they've asked so less from computer IT. Syllabus में computer and IT है, but when they ask question on LED, I'm assuming कि they will be asking questions on electronics also. Computer IT and electronics. So last year they asked question on artificial intelligence. उससे पहले in 2000, I think I made a mistake here. हाँ नहीं राइट 2021 में they have asked a question on blue LEDs, so Nobel Prize in Physics. So this will help us emphasize कि at least recent Nobel Prizes which are very important, which are on areas which we are all using, laser, LED, we should be prepared with. Discuss the advantages and security implication of cloud hosting, cloud computing, cloud hosting, that area. So in general, computer science के application in day-to-day activities is something that they have asked. Digital signature, 3D printing, all of you have studied all these things at the time of your preliminary examination, right? But in mains we will not be able to study that much. In preliminary examination on computer IT electronics only, we had covered around 60 topics. For those of you who were part of prelims masters program or target prelims current affairs program, we had done at least 50 topics only on computer IT electronics. Here we will not be able to do all those things. We'll do the most important things. Suppose वो उसके beyond कुछ पूछ लेते हैं. Prelims के टाइम आपने समझा था ना अच्छे से. ऐसा था नहीं कि बस ऊपर से फैक्ट देख लिए थे. If they ask something, you'll still be able to write a average answer, but if they ask something which you have covered in the class, you'll be able to write an excellent answer. Okay, robotics, just one question. What are the areas of prohibitive labor that can be sustainably managed by robots? Discuss the initiative that can propel research in premier research institutions for substantive and gainful innovation. They had asked this in 2015. Did ask this in 2015. In 2015 एग्जामिनेशन. क्या है? हाँ, तो लुक एट दिस क्वेश्चन. प्रोहिबिटिव एरिया ऑफ लेबर, दैट एरिया ऑफ लेबर जहां पे ह्यूमन के लिए काम करना मुश्किल है, वहां पे व्हाट आर द एरियाज ऑफ प्रोहिबिटिव लेबर दैट कैन बी सस्टेनेबली मैनेज्ड बाय रोबोट्स? स्पेस, सर्वाइवल फॉर ह्यूमन इज डिफिकल्ट, माइनिंग, अंडरसी एक्टिविटीज, है ना, सम रिपीटेटिव थिंग्स विच बिकम्स यूजलेस फॉर अ इंटेलिजेंट ह्यूमन टू डू, क्लीनिंग ऑफ न्यूक्लियर पावर प्लांट्स. प्रोहिबिटिव एरियाज ये लिखने थे यहाँ पे, कुछ टेक्निकल नहीं पूछा है. Then second question is also very general question. How do you promote, discuss the initiative that can propel research in premier research institutions for substantive and gainful innovation? Because the first statement was about robotics, we'll assume कि they are focusing on robotics में इंडिया के premier research institutions में आप research कैसे promote कर पाओगे? This was the question. They can ask this question for biotechnology. They can ask this question for nanotechnology. They can ask this question for quantum computers. जो emerging areas हैं, उसके basis पे ये question पूछ सकते हैं. बताओ उनका application क्या है and how will you promote research in those areas in India's premier institution? और आंसर सेम रहेगा, जो 2015 में आंसर था वही रहेगा. क्या कुछ कॉमन चीजें समझो. देखो, अच्छा एक चीज और बताता हूँ. When it comes to science and technology, एक ना फ्रेमवर्क समझना. इंडिया में रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट की जब भी बात होती है, साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी की जब भी बात होती है, द कोर प्रॉब्लम्स दैट वी फेस इज लेस फंड, पुअर इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, पुअर ह्यूमन रिसोर्स. जब कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा ना, इन तीन चीजों पे फोकस करिए. हमारे पास रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट के लिए उतने फंड नहीं मिलते जो यूएस या चाइना में मिल रहे हैं किसी भी एरिया में. उस वजह से इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, रिसर्च लैब्स, all those things are of poorer quality and we do not have good quality human resource. रिसर्च करने के लिए, पढ़ने के लिए लोग बीटेक यहाँ से करेंगे, एमएस करने यूएस चले जाएंगे, वहीं सेटल हो जाएंगे. जब कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा वो तीनों चीजें लिखो. ओके, I'll keep come on this point again and again in your science and technology preparation. But ये जो क्वेश्चन था, इसे हम कैसे टैकल करते? इंडिया के प्रीमियर रिसर्च इंस्टीट्यूशंस में आपको अगर रोबोटिक्स पे, I'm assuming कि this second part was also about robotics. Robotics में research and development promote करना है. Use a life cycle approach. Simple. What is life cycle approach? Life cycle approach सोचो कि यार अगर आपको robotics में research and development करना होता तो आपको क्या क्या चाहिए होता. एक, ensure that at school level there are some robotics courses so that when I'm considering my higher education, I may be interested in robotics. Ensure that there are BTech, MTech कोर्सेस इन दिस फील्ड. स्टूडेंट एक्सचेंज प्रोग्राम उन इंस्टीट्यूशंस के साथ प्रमोट करो, उन कंट्रीज के साथ प्रमोट करो विच आर डूइंग वेल इन रोबोटिक्स. समझ में आ रहा है? देन academia industry collaboration, because why do today what happens is most of the IIT toppers end up going and studying computer science. Why do they end up going and studying computer science? Not because it's the most interesting field. It's because सबसे easy job उसमें मिलेगी. It's not the most difficult field, but आराम से job मिल जाएगी, life future secure हो जाएगा. So we'll have to ensure that robotics में industries में भी अच्छा काम हो रहा हो. तो जब ये आप life cycle approach खुद से सोचोगे ना, you'll be able to write a good answer, and when examiner will read this, you would also be able to logically connect everything rather than just haphazardly writing. कुछ ना 5 चीजें याद कर ली हैं और randomly लिख दिया और connection नहीं है उसमें. When an examiner reads something like this which is connected, nice. These are the areas that you need to focus upon, and you have written it like that. Are we getting it? Are we understanding it? तो देखो robotics पे this question was about robotics, but we could answer it just by our common sense. So there would be questions like this also. Okay, now I won't be able to attend class live if I take recorded lecture. Will I miss out on something? नहीं, recorded lecture में भी just ensure कि पहला जो 1 hour होगा where you are supposed to write answers, please do write answers. Then look at the discussion. है ना? This is a mistake which people who are watching recorded videos do. वो ना delay करते जाते हैं और फिर जब क्लास में आंसर लिखने का नंबर आता है ना वो they skip that because they want to focus on completing syllabus. Don't do that. Recorded videos are all fine, but when you are being allocated right for 45 minutes, write answers. You should be writing answers. Writing is more important than learning new things for UPSC Civil Services Mains examination. इस बात को गांठ बांध लो, भूलना नहीं है. Okay, now evaluation for online student. अगर आप संडे को टेस्ट लिख रहे हो, मैं आपका evaluate करके दूंगा. If you are writing mains this year, I'll not be able to promise it for everyone, just for students who will be writing mains this year. आप सोच रहे होगे कि सर बहुत सारे बच्चे मेंस लिख रहे हैं, आप सबके evaluate कैसे कर पाओगे? मैं आपको एक और चीज़ बताता हूँ. फुल मतलब उसके साथ 20% से ज़्यादा बच्चे पेपर नहीं लिखते, इसलिए 20-25% बच्चों को इंटरव्यू कॉल आता है. ये रियलिटी है, समझो इस बात को. आप कहीं भी टेस्ट सीरीज ज्वाइन करते हो, नहीं लिखते हो, लिखो. आपके सिलेक्शन, इफ यू आर एबल टू फिनिश ऑल योर ऑप्शनल टेस्ट्स, ऑल योर जीएस टेस्ट सीरीज के टेस्ट, योर चांसेस ऑफ सिलेक्शन आर ऑलरेडी वेरी हाई, नो मैटर हाउ बैड यू आर. ओके, I'll evaluate online papers also. So you are like God to me. मेरी भाई बहुत फटी रहती है जीवन में, है ना? नहीं नहीं, रियलिटी है, बहुत सारा काम है, सारी चीजें हैं, ऐसे फालतू की बकवास है नहीं. आई एम सॉरी, मतलब मैं आपको ऑफेंड नहीं करना चाहता. मैं तुच्छ इंसान, मेहनती इंसान हूँ. आई पुट इन अ लॉट ऑफ एफर्ट्स. गॉड को नहीं करने पड़ते, वो बना के छोड़ दिए उन्होंने, है ना? ओके, टेस्ट सीरीज जीएस फाउंडेशन के बच्चों के लिए टेस्ट सीरीज इंक्लूडेड है इफ दे आर क्लियरिंग प्रिलिमिनरी एग्जामिनेशन. बाकी आपकी क्लास आंसर राइटिंग इंक्लूडेड है. इन एवरी क्लास विल राइट 4 आंसर्स, तो इन 70 क्लास विल बी राइटिंग 280 आंसर्स. दैट इज इंक्लूडेड in your program, but test series is not separately included. But if you take test series at LevelUp IAS, आपको 30-40% ऑफ है. MMP प्रोग्राम वाले जो बच्चे हैं उनके लिए टेस्ट सीरीज 30-40% ऑफ पे है. ओके, कम बैक तो रोबोटिक्स वाला क्वेश्चन समझ में आया, बट वी विल डू सम मोर एरियाज ऑन रोबोटिक्स. अब रोबोटिक्स प्लस एआई, उसका इम्पैक्ट ऑन जॉब, रोबोटिक्स प्लस एआई, उसका इम्पैक्ट ऑन इंडियाज इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर, दोज एस्पेक्ट्स विल बी कवरिंग. लेट्स कम टू नैनो टेक्नोलॉजी. व्हाट डू यू अंडरस्टैंड बाय नैनो टेक्नोलॉजी एंड हाउ इट इज हेल्पिंग इन हेल्थ सेक्टर? What is biotechnology? How it is helping farmers? This kind of question has been asked. Similar line पे ये हेल्थ सेक्टर पे पूछा है. तो अब ना फ्यूचर में ऐसा हो सकता है, नैनो टेक्नोलॉजी एनवायरमेंट एंड बायोटेक्नोलॉजी हेल्थ. They may ask questions like that. We should be ready for that. Why is nanotechnology one of the key technologies of 21st century? Basically, why is nanotechnology very significant? Why is nanotechnology a general purpose technology, one of the most important technology of 21st century? Describe the salient features of Indian government's mission on nanoscience. इंडिया ने एक मिशन ऑन नैनो साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी लॉन्च किया था 2007 में, बट दे स्टिल आस्किंग इट. व्हाट इज दिस टेलिंग यू? दिस इज टेलिंग यू, चाहे बायोटेक्नोलॉजी हो, चाहे नैनो टेक्नोलॉजी हो, कोई भी हो, उसमें जो मेजर मिशन लॉन्च हुए, वी शुड बी रेडी फॉर दैट. रेडी क्या? 3-4 पॉइंट समझना, वो लिख देना, और सब कुछ याद नहीं रहेगा. सपोज मिशन ऑन नैनो साइंस पूछा, आपको नहीं पता है, सोचना सर ने क्या बताया था. सर ने बताया था यार इंडिया में पैसे की कमी होगी, they'll provide under this mission, they'll provide more funds for nano science and technology, they'll ensure that more labs are getting created, they'll ensure that more human resources are getting created. ये गलत हो ही नहीं सकता. This will be generic, but this will not be wrong, because you will see when you go to mission on nano science and technology, you will see this is happening. When you will go to mission on supercomputing, national supercomputing mission, you will see this is the scenario. हर जगह हम इन areas पे focus कर रहे हैं. ओके, न्यूक्लियर साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी. न्यूक्लियर साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी सिलेबस में मेंशन नहीं है, बट फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ एनर्जी दे हैव आस्क्ड क्वेश्चन, फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ साइंस आल्सो दे हैव आस्क्ड क्वेश्चन. और इस साल न्यूक्लियर साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी में बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट डेवलपमेंट्स भी हुए हैं, स्पेशली इन द फ्यूजन रिएक्शन कैटेगरी. नेशनल इग्निशन फैसिलिटी के अचीवमेंट्स हैं, ITER के अचीवमेंट्स हैं, राइट? वी स्टडीड दैट एट द टाइम ऑफ प्रिलिमिनरी एग्जामिनेशन फ्रॉम द पर्सपेक्टिव ऑफ साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी, इसे थोड़ा पढ़ेंगे हम किस पर्सपेक्टिव से, इसे पढ़ेंगे हम थोड़ा मेंस के पर्सपेक्टिव से, एनालिटिकल पर्सपेक्टिव से, उसके इंप्लीकेशंस क्या होंगे। तो विद ग्रोइंग एनर्जी नीड शुड इंडिया कीप ऑन एक्सटेंडिंग इट्स न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी प्रोग्राम, discuss the fact and fears associated with nuclear energy. As I'm saying, this could have been a question in economy, energy sector. मैंने बस यहाँ पे include कर दिया because I cover nuclear science and technology where in science and technology. So we will look at this topic. Then give an account of growth and development of nuclear science and technology in India. Now look at this question very carefully. क्या हुआ है? Look at this question very carefully. Give an account of growth and development of nuclear science and technology in. इसमें पता है बच्चों ने क्या मिस्टेक्स करी? सब ने न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी के डेवलपमेंट्स के बारे में लिख दिया। 3 phases ऑफ न्यूक्लियर एनर्जी प्रोग्राम। फर्स्ट फेज में जहां पे हम प्रेशराइज्ड वाटर रिएक्टर डेवलप कर रहे हैं, सेकेंड फेज में फास्ट ब्रीडर रिएक्टर डेवलप कर रहे हैं, थर्ड फेज में यूरेनियम थोरियम यूरेनियम साइकिल से फास्ट ब्रीडर रिएक्टर से हम एनर्जी बना रहे हैं। बट द क्वेश्चन वाज नॉट अबाउट दैट. Question was not about nuclear energy. Question was about nuclear science and technology, and you had to talk about nuclear science and technology में health में क्या development हुई है, nuclear science and technology में environment के perspective से क्या development हुआ है, nuclear science and technology में energy perspective से क्या development हुआ है, nuclear science and technology में weapons के perspective से क्या development हुआ है. You had to talk about these areas. ओके हम यहाँ डायरेक्टिव वर्ड्स, उनके सिग्निफिकेंस, वो सारी चीजें भी समझेंगे यहाँ पे. बट आई होप ये क्लैरिटी मिल रही है हमें. लेट्स गो टू आईपीआर. देखो आईपीआर इज समथिंग विच जनरली इज इग्नोर्ड. आईपीआर हम प्रीलिम्स के टाइम भी ज्यादा नहीं पढ़ते हैं. मैंने पढ़ाया था, मैंने आईपीआर की पूरी क्लासेस ली हैं, कॉपीराइट वो सारी चीजें पढ़ाई हैं, ऑल द एक्ट्स वी हैड कवर्ड एट द टाइम ऑफ प्रीलिम्स. बट इन जनरल साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी टीचर्स टेंड टू इग्नोर इंटेलेक्चुअल प्रॉपर्टी राइट्स. बट how is government of India protecting traditional knowledge of medicine from patenting by pharmaceutical companies? IPR का question. India's traditional knowledge digital library, which has a database containing formatted information on more than 2 million medicinal formulation, is proving a powerful weapon in countries' fight against erroneous patents. Discuss the pros and cons of making the database publicly available under open source licensing. Again an IPR related question. कि अगर उसे ओपन सोर्स लाइसेंसिंग में कर दोगे उसके एडवांटेजेस लिमिटेशंस क्या होंगे. देन इन अ ग्लोबलाइज्ड वर्ल्ड आईपीआर अज्यूम सिग्निफिकेंस एंड आर सोर्स ऑफ लिटिगेशन ब्रॉडली. देखो पहले इंट्रोडक्टरी लाइन ये है, बट व्हाट आर दे टॉकिंग अबाउट? ब्रॉडली डिस्टिंग्विश बिटवीन द टर्म कॉपीराइट, पेटेंट, ट्रेड सीक्रेट. तो बेसिक फंडामेंटल पे चलेंगे. यू शुड बी एबल टू राइट 25-30 वर्ड्स अबाउट व्हाट कॉपीराइट इज, व्हाट ट्रेडमार्क इज, व्हाट पेटेंट इज, व्हाट जोग्राफिकल इंडिकेशन इज. वो सब भी हमें पता होने चाहिए. तो बेसिक से भी क्वेश्चन. देन ब्रिंग आउट द सर्कमस्टांसेस इन 2005 which forced amendment to section 3D of the Indian Patent Act. We will study Indian Patent Act. We will see the major amendments that have taken place, the reason behind the major amendment, intellectual property right policy, the good and the bad thing about intellectual property right policy, Copyright Act, Geographical Indication Act. ये सारी चीजें हम देखेंगे. because why are we going to emphasize on these? Because when we look at PYQs we see those things getting asked. मैंने आपको क्या बोला? सिलेबस पहली चीज जो आपको कवर करनी है, PYQs सेकेंड चीज, थर्ड करंट अफेयर्स. करंट अफेयर्स सारे नहीं. देखो आपको ना ये कंपाइलेशंस मिलेंगी जिसमें रैंडमली कुछ भी भरा हुआ है. आप ना एक काम करना, जो ये कंपाइलेशंस आते हैं ना, ईयरली कंपाइलेशंस ऑन साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी, 2013 से अब तक की सारी ईयरली कंपाइलेशन देख और फिर सोचना कि यार बुद्धि नहीं लगाई क्या? Why are they adding so many irrelevant things? छोटे मोटे लॉन्चर्स, इनिशिएटिव्स जबरदस्ती क्यों भरे हुए हैं उसमें? फिल्म्स के टाइम वी डू नॉट नो. फिल्म्स के टाइम हम इतनी सारी स्पीसीज पढ़ते हैं, वो एल्क पूछ लेते हैं जो यूएस वाला है ना. इतने सारे बड़े बड़े शेर, चीते, भालू पढ़ रहे हैं और वो पूछ रहे हैं सिकाडास क्या होते हैं, इंसेक्ट होते हैं कि बर्ड होते हैं. फिल्म्स के टाइम हम उन्हें कुछ नहीं बोल सकते. भाई सब पढ़ाओ. जितना ज्यादा हमने कुछ देखा होगा उतना ज्यादा कुछ क्लिक होने के चांसेस रहेंगे. बट एट द टाइम ऑफ मेंस एग्जामिनेशन वी हैव टू बी वेरी वेरी सिलेक्टिव. वी शुड नॉट बी क्या जो भी न्यूज में आया है सब जान लो, सब पढ़ लो. तो ना कुछ चीजें ऐसी होनी चाहिए जहां पे यू शुड बी सो वेल प्रिपेयर्ड यू गेट 6 out of 10. And you will be able to do it only when you are doing selective studies. only when you are ignoring the useless part. Else you will be doing average on everything and below average on some things. You will not be able to achieve that excellence. Excellence is achieved only in limited areas. तो हमें उन लिमिटेड इंपॉर्टेंट एरियाज को पढ़ना है, समझना है. ओके, देन दीज आर सम मोर थिंग्स. जैसे डिफेंस में एक ही क्वेश्चन आया है मेंस में अभी तक. S400 एयर डिफेंस सिस्टम टेक्निकली सुपीरियर टू एनी अदर सिस्टम प्रेजेंटली अवेलेबल इन द वर्ल्ड. हाउ इज S400 एयर डिफेंस सिस्टम टेक्निकली सुपीरियर? S400 रशिया से हम खरीदते हैं, वो कैसे सुपीरियर है? दिस वाज आस्क्ड. हम ब्रीफली इस साल जैसे एट द टाइम ऑफ प्रिलिमिनरी एग्जामिनेशन हमने इंडिया के फाइटर प्लेन्स के बारे में पढ़ा था. ये बहुत क्लियरली बताया था, वी डू नॉट हैव एनी 5th जनरेशन 1, राइट. थोड़ा सा उसे समझेंगे, फाइटर जेट्स के बारे में थोड़ा सा. वी विल गो इनटू डिफेंस में जब टॉपिक्स हम पढ़ेंगे, वी विल गो इनटू सबमरीन्स, अरिहंत एंड ऑल. हाउ इज इट बेटर देन अदर्स या कूला क्लास सबमरीन, ऑन दोज एस्पेक्ट्स विल कवर. एंड देन some missiles will deal with Agni Prime etc which have been in news recently. Not everything, briefly पढ़ेंगे, ज़्यादा नहीं. Okay, and then come to miscellaneous. Discuss several ways in which microorganisms can help in meeting the current fuel shortage. ये एनर्जी सेक्टर का क्वेश्चन था, दो I am including it here. You had to talk about biofuels. कैसे माइक्रोऑर्गेनिजम्स बायोफ्यूल्स में कंट्रीब्यूट करते हैं. अल्कोहल बनता है तो उसमें फर्मेंटेशन होता है, माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स यूज हो रहे हैं, राइट. वी हैड टू टॉक अबाउट दैट. देन इवन व्हेन अनएरोबिक रेस्पिरेशन लीड्स टू मीथेन फॉर्मेशन बायोगैस में, वहां भी माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स का रोल है. तो वो आपको एनर्जी सेक्टर समझना है और कैसे माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिजम्स आर प्लेइंग अ रोल, दैट वी हैड टू टॉक अबाउट. Each year a large amount of plant material cellulose is deposited on the surface of planet Earth. What are the natural process this cellulose undergoes before yielding carbon dioxide, water and other end product? अब आपको ये चाहते हैं कि बायोलॉजी के वो एकदम कोर निटी ग्रिटीज जो ग्रेजुएशन में पढ़ते हैं वो आना चाहिए. इस तरह का क्वेश्चन आएगा. हम जनरल कुछ चीजें लिख देंगे, बट डू नॉट सीक टू गेन एक्सपर्टीज हेयर, बिकॉज एल्स यू विल एंड अप डूइंग BSc इन बायोलॉजी. हमें वो नहीं करना है ना, राइट. ऊपर वाले जो क्वेश्चंस थे हमें सब आने चाहिए अच्छे से, बट इस तरह के जब क्वेश्चंस आएंगे वी शुड बी एबल टू राइट अ जनरल आंसर, बट नॉट 6 out of 10 वाला आंसर. ओके, देन हाउ इज साइंस इंटरवोवन डीपली इन आवर लाइव्स? व्हाट आर द स्ट्राइकिंग चेंजेस इन एग्रीकल्चर ट्रिगर्ड ऑफ बाय साइंस बेस्ड टेक्नोलॉजी? एग्रीकल्चर में साइंस का एप्लीकेशन, एक तो पहला स्टेटमेंट, हाउ साइंस इज इम्पैक्टिंग योर एंटायर लाइफ साइकिल अप्रोच फॉलो कर लेना. सुबह उठने से रात में सोने तक, पढ़ने से हॉस्पिटल जाने तक, सब में साइंस लगा के एग्जाम्पल दे देना सिस्टमैटिकली. दिस इज समथिंग दैट वी डू नॉट स्टडी, राइट. सुबह उठ रहे हो, अलार्म बज रहा है, क्लास आ रहे हो, GPS यूज कर रहे हो, उससे लेकर सारी चीजें मेंशन करनी है. आपका जो खाना आया होगा प्रोसेस्ड फूड है, तो वहां साइंस का कुछ एप्लीकेशन होगा, बायोटेक्नोलॉजी का एप्लीकेशन. कर्ड खा रहे होगे तो वहां पे बायोटेक्नोलॉजी इज बीइंग यूज्ड, दैट इज क्लासिकल बायोटेक्नोलॉजी. माइक्रोवेव ओवन यूज कर रहे होगे खाना गर्म करने के लिए. Science is interwoven everywhere in your life. You're using metro, you're using cars, you're using, वहाँ पे cars use कर रहे हो, internal combustion engine use हो रहा होगा, refineries से पेट्रोल बना होगा, डीजल बना होगा, इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल का अपना रोल होगा. तो फर्स्ट पार्ट इज यू कैन वेरी क्लियरली एक्सप्लेन, एंड सेकेंड पार्ट इज साइंस इन एग्रीकल्चर. देखो क्वेश्चन दैट दे हैव आस्क्ड इज बायोटेक्नोलॉजी इन एग्रीकल्चर. साइंस इन एग्रीकल्चर पे तो आप बहुत सारे पॉइंट्स अपने आप से अच्छे से लिख सकते हो. तो हेयर हाउ गुड एन आंसर दैट यू विल बी राइटिंग विल डिपेंड ऑन हाउ मेनी आंसर्स यू हैव रिटन. 250 आंसर्स हमें क्लास में लिखने हैं एज पार्ट ऑफ मेंस मास्टर्स प्रोग्राम. इफ यू विल राइट ऑल दोस 250 आंसर्स एंड इम्प्रूव, जब आपसे क्लास में बोला जाएगा इंट्रो ऐसा होना चाहिए, ऐसा होना चाहिए, आप उस पर अगर इम्प्रूव करोगे यू विल बी एबल टू राइट गुड आंसर्स हेयर ऑल्सो, बिकॉज एवरीवन नोज दिस आंसर्स. How will you be able to differentiate your answer? Because you have done more answer writing practice. You understand कि इतने टाइम में इतने ही dimensions लिख पाऊंगा, तो एक मैं हेल्थ से लिख देता हूँ, एक एजुकेशन से लिख देता हूँ, एक बाकी एरिया से लिख देता हूँ. इस तरह से सोच के आपको लिखना होगा. How was India benefited from the contribution of Sir M. Visvesvaraya and Dr. M.S. Swaminathan? इनके contribution या फिर important Indian scientist के contribution. C.V. रमन का contribution, बोस का कंट्रीब्यूशन, ऑल दीज काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स वी हैव टू, सबके बारे में 2-3 लाइन ज्यादा नहीं, आई विल प्रोवाइड इट टू, डू नॉट वरी, आपको ना रिसर्च करके निकालने की जरूरत नहीं है, आई विल प्रोवाइड दैट लिस्ट टू यू, 15 इंपॉर्टेंट साइंटिस्ट एंड देयर मेजर कंट्रीब्यूशन। देन डिस्कस द वर्क ऑफ बोस आइंस्टाइन स्टैटिस्टिक्स, मैंने बोस की बात करी थी, एंड बोस आइंस्टाइन स्टैटिस्टिक्स के बारे में थोड़ा पढ़ लेंगे। देखो, द ईयर दिस क्वेश्चन केम, वन ऑफ माई स्टूडेंट्स हैड फिजिक्स ऑप्शनल, इज लाइक सर मुझे भी नहीं पता, हम सत्येंद्रनाथ बोस के कंट्रीब्यूशन के बारे में पढ़ सकते हैं, बट बोस आइंस्टाइन स्टैटिस्टिक्स इतनी निटिग्रिटीज में नहीं जाते हैं। तो इफ अ क्वेश्चन लाइक दिस कम, डू नॉट वरी, नो, प्लीज अंडरस्टैंड, एक बच्चा जो फिजिक्स ऑप्शनल पढ़ रहा था उसे भी ये सब नहीं आता, तो क्यों टेंशन लेना है। ओके, देन what is allelopathy, discuss its role in major cropping system of irrigation, irrigated agriculture, we'll study about allelopathy. What's an FRP composite material, how are they manufactured, discuss their application in the aviation and automobile sector, briefly we'll look at this, but these things are not something which fit in our syllabus anywhere. In last 11 years they have asked 8 questions in this manner also. Some of these questions are easily doable, some of these questions are highly technical, and I do not promise you that you will be able to solve these highly technical questions in the best possible manner. No one will be able to promise you. अगर कोई promise कर रहा है तो आपका काट रहा है, झूठ बोल रहा है, नहीं, ये रियलिटी है, झूठ बोल रहा है कि नहीं जो भी पूछेगा सब करवाएगा, नहीं, सिलेबस में जो सबसे इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें हैं वो, और you should always be focused on most important things, not on the छोटी मोटी चीजें जो चल रही हैं, you should always be focused on that. Ritesh sir, please read. It was not. देखो, the questions that we are going to do in class, 4 answers in every class, it's not getting evaluated. It's going to get discussed. आपको खुद से evaluate करना है, आपको खुद से देखना है how you have written those answers. In Mains Masters program, the 4 answers that you are writing, it is not getting evaluated daily. Please understand, we will be discussing those in class. Okay. Yes, CAR T cell therapy, all these things would be done. Anything in current affairs would be done. Okay, don't worry. How many lectures demo will be on YouTube? 1 lecture by every teacher for every subject. 1 for science and technology, 1 for polity, 1 for governance, 1 for history, so that you're able to understand the entire team, their working style, their teaching style. You'll not have like all the lectures on demo. First 6 lectures are on demo. No, you'll have 1 lecture by me on demo. जब मैं science पढ़ा रहा हूँ, 1 lecture when I'm teaching environment, 1 lecture when I'm teaching disaster, 1 lecture when I'm teaching economy, 1 lecture when Babu sir is teaching polity, 1 lecture when Babu sir is teaching governance, 1 lecture when Babu sir is teaching social justice. Yeah, just for demo purpose. Okay, let's now look at some of the topics. आज हम we are going to study 6 topics, only 6 topics. Today it's just orientation. Tomorrow you'll have around 20 topics to cover. We'll quickly go through those topics and all. Today we're going to cover just 6 topics, and these are the areas which I was just over the last 1 month में news में कुछ चीजें देखता था, उससे I was preparing for these areas. These are such areas. These areas, through this we'll understand how from tomorrow when we start our studies, how we will be covering any area. You have seen us covering various topics in preliminary examination. You will see how we'll cover a topic in mains examination. It will not take more than 15-20 minutes for every topic. Unless it's very analytical कि India US relation 8 में India US relation we'll study for 1 hour. That's a different thing. But these individual topics will not take more than 15-20 minutes to cover one topic. We'll identify the core things that we need to write in our answers, and we'll stick to this. Okay, so let us start with the first question, first topic, Aditya L1. Now, what is the kind of question that we may get in the examination on Aditya L1? Because we have seen question on Chandrayaan. On those lines, I made a question here. What are the main scientific objectives of India's Aditya L1 mission? Main scientific objective of India's Aditya L1 mission: introduce the subsystems in the spacecraft launched. Did they ask you subsystems of Chandrayaan? Briefly introduce subsystem of the spacecraft. Now, when we are covering this topic, we are not covering answer for this question as such. In general, anything that is important for Aditya L1, we are covering it, but this answer will also get covered. Okay, so when यहाँ पे अच्छा लेट मी डू वन मोर थिंग. कुछ चीजों का ना व्हेन यू विल बी राइटिंग आंसर्स, व्हेन यू विल बी स्टडिंग फॉर अ टॉपिक, हमें ध्यान रखना है. When I'll start evaluating your papers, the first complaint that I come up with is, bhai, you have not written in word limit. Make it a rule, you will never breach word limit. 5-10 words से breach कर लिया, that is fine. If you are someone who is breaching word limit regularly, you are not going to get selected because you will not be able to complete your paper. Word limit is very crucial, keep that in mind. And when we talk about word limit being crucial, why do people end up breaching word limit? Because वो ना अपना introduction या conclusion unnecessarily बड़ा कर लेते हैं. They do not understand that introduction and conclusion have to be very precise, very concise. Make it a rule that your introduction is never more than 20% of your word limit. If you have a question of 150 words, 20% is 30 words. It's in no case more than 30 words. It can be just 6 words. एक line लिख दे. It can be just 10 words. It can be just 15 words. But your introduction should always be less than 20% of your answer, 20% of your word limit, so that you can focus on the core of your answer. Please understand, कई बार क्या on many occasions what happen, they give a statement first and then they ask you the real question, and we think that that statement is very crucial. No, that statement is just introductory statement. You do not have to spend half your answer in explaining that introductory statement. Core question has to be the focus area, and 80% of your answer, including conclusion, should be focused on that, nothing else. Okay, that's only then will you be able to meet the demands of the question within the word limit. एक और चीज जो बहुत ध्यान रखनी है, पता है, when we are preparing for civil services examination these days, rather than teachers, we have a lot of YouTubers who keep on giving us some random guidance कि ये लिख देना, ये लिख देना, ये लिख देना, ये लिख देना, फालतू की चीजें लिख दो. नहीं करना है. कई बार ना हमें ये सजेशन दिया जाता है कि write as many points as you want, as you can. Yes, that is true. You have to have more dimensions. But sometimes when you make it a rule कि I have to write 10 points in a 10 mark question, you end up writing useless repetitive things again and again, again and again. You do not have to do that. Make it, please समझ जाइए, आपके पास 5 अच्छे points हैं, 5 अच्छे points लिखिए, छठा समझ में नहीं आ रहा है, नहीं लिखना है, सातवां नहीं लिखना. You do not have to write 8 points in every answer. If you are able to write 8 genuine points, fine, we'll write them. Now, if you have to write 5 points in an answer, please understand, you'll have to write it very precisely. आप एक ही, suppose, let's say this is your answer, this is your introduction, and this is the core part of your body. You're writing first point, second point, third point, fourth point, fifth. And if every point you're taking it in 4-5 lines, you'll never be able to complete 5 points in the word limit. So write these points in a very precise manner. जितना छोटा हो सके समझाना है, but कम words में समझ. Only then you will not breach the word limit, and this is about the core of your answer. या जब आप अपने आंसर का कोर डिमांड फुलफिल कर रहे हो ना, वहां पे ना बहुत फिगर विगर बना के, फिगर लाइक इंडिया का मैप बनाना, यस दैट्स इंपॉर्टेंट, बट दिस थिंग, वो क्या बोलते हैं, एक सर्कल बना दिया, दिस यू डू फॉर नॉन कोर पार्ट ऑफ योर आंसर. इंट्रोडक्शन में कुछ नहीं पूछा है, पर इंट्रोडक्शन में आप बता देना चाहते हो कि सुपर कंप्यूटर के ये फीचर होते हैं. दे हैव आस्क्ड कि सुपर कंप्यूटर के क्या क्या एप्लीकेशन होते हैं. सपोज द क्वेश्चन इज दिस, बट in introduction you want to tell about a lot of other things about supercomputer other than application. ये बनाओ, वो सारी चीजें लिख दो. It's a good way to present those ideas very precisely. It will improve the presentation also. But when it comes to the core demand of your question, कि what are the applications of supercomputer, what will you do? आप लिखोगे heading application point 1 point 2, clearly heading सब heading के साथ your answer should be clearly visible कि भाई these are the applications the student has written. एक ही आंसर में 3-3 फिगर बना दिए हैं, वो नहीं करना है। यूपीएससी हैज नेवर सेड दैट यू विल गेट मोर मार्क्स बिकॉज ऑफ दैट। अलग अलग बच्चे आके आपको अलग अलग कुछ चीजें बताते हैं, आप फॉलो करने लग जाते हो, डोंट डू दैट। बात समझ में आ रही है? इन छोटी छोटी, कल when you will write answer, keep this in mind. So let's come back to our topic. What are the main science objective of India's Aditya L1 mission? Question का first part is what are the main science objective? The question has not asked about what Aditya L1 is, but in introduction you would want to, in one line, 1.5 line, explain what Aditya L1 is. So first we have a small definition. Aditya L1 is India's first observatory class space based solar mission. अगर याद रह पाए तो लिख देना, it was launched in September on PSLV and reached L1 in September 2023 से January 2024. बस इतना, नहीं रह पाए तो कोई बात नहीं. What is Aditya L1? It is India's first observatory class space based solar mission. ओके, सो हमारे पास ऑब्जर्वेटरी क्लास स्पेस बेस्ड मिशन पहले भी रहे हैं, बट सोलर मिशन नहीं रहे. जैसे एस्ट्रोसैट, इट वाज एन ऑब्जर्वेटरी क्लास स्पेस बेस्ड मिशन, बट इट वाज नॉट स्पेसिफिकली फोकस्ड ऑन सन. इंट्रोडक्शन हुआ. देखो, नाउ टुमारो विल टॉक मोर अबाउट व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट वेज इन विच वी कैन राइट इंट्रोडक्शन. हियर वी हैव जस्ट डिफाइंड व्हाट आदित्य L1 is. What are its major objectives? What is Aditya L1 supposed to do? This is something that has been asked in your question. After writing your introduction, you should come to the first part of your question कि यार the main objectives of Aditya L1. अब देखो, याद नहीं रखना है. Aditya L1 is supposed to do what? It is supposed to study sun, है ना. अब study sun में first thing that it is doing is it is studying coronal heating and solar wind acceleration. That is not the mass which is come, how the heating is taking place there, how corona is getting heated and how the mass there is getting accelerated. Once corona will get heated, mass will get accelerated, mass will come out. It will focus on initiation of coronal mass ejection. देखो, यहाँ पे भी अगर आप लाइफ साइकिल वाला अप्रोच रखोगे, it will be easy to remember, easy to recall. When you will talk about what are the objectives of Aditya L1, पहले कोरोना में हीटिंग कैसे हो रही है, how is mass getting accelerated, heating होगी, mass will get accelerated, what would happen, ejection will take place. Another objective is understanding the initiation of coronal mass ejection. At the time of preliminary examination we have spent a lot of time on understanding all these dimensions, है ना. यहाँ पे we do not have to get into the nitty gritties of यहाँ पे temperature इतना है, इतना acceleration होगा and all these kind of things. We just have to focus on how will we write a 150 word answer. Coupling and dynamics of solar atmosphere. That is, we know sun has 3 layers in its atmosphere. याद है? अच्छा, सन का इंटीरियर कैसा होता है? CRC, कोर रेडिएटिव जोन, कन्वेक्शन जोन, एंड एटमॉस्फेयर में क्या होता है? PCC, फोटोस्फेयर, क्रोमोस्फेयर एंड कोरोना. तो थर्ड ऑब्जेक्टिव इज हाउ फोटोस्फेयर, क्रोमोस्फेयर एंड कोरोना में कपलिंग हो रही है. कपलिंग एंड डायनेमिक्स ऑफ द सोलर एटमॉस्फेयर, how they are related, how material is going from one layer to another, and finally solar wind distribution and temperature anisotropy. Because of all this, what is happening? Solar flares are coming towards us, solar winds are coming towards us. How is it distributed and how temperature variation is occurring at different axes? Anisotropy is. These are the scientific objectives. देखो, please understand the question में ना, the question was about what are the main science objectives. When they ask you science objective, you have to specifically talk about scientifically what they are going to study. But when they just ask you about the objective, sun को study करना है, simple, you could have written कि we have to study sun so that the negative impact of solar flares does not impact our satellites, equipments, etc. Then we could have written that. But here, when they are specifically talking about scientific objective, you have to talk about scientific कि Aditya L1 launch करते time what are the scientific objectives that we had kept officially, what were the scientific objectives, we have to speak about that. And it's easy. अब फिर से सोचो, पहले first objective is कोरोना में how is heating taking place, how is acceleration taking place, then how is mass getting ejected. what is the correlation, what is the relation between different layers, what is the dynamic that is connecting different layers, and how this mass is going to impact us, how this coronal mass ejection is going to impact us. These are the core things, core objectives that they have. Now, the question has not asked. Let's go back to the question. What are the main objectives of the India's Aditya L1 mission? Introduce the subsystem in the spacecraft launch. Second part of the question is introducing the subsystem in the spacecraft launch. But the second part could also have been, why have we launched it at L1? है ना? तो while the question is limited, तो इस question में जो हम पढ़ने, the things that we are going to study will not be written in this question, but we'll study Aditya L1 in such a way that no matter what question they ask, we should be able to answer that. Are we getting it? So why did we launch Aditya L1? What is the need of studying sun from space and specifically from Lagrangian point? बहुत simple सी चीज, बहुत simple precise words में you have to write कि we have to study sun from space because the atmosphere and magnetic field of Earth do not allow a lot of things from sun to reach Earth. That's why we have to go to space. That's the first point. Second, why precisely from Lagrangian point L1? Because L1 will always remain in between Earth and Sun, and our Aditya L1 will 24/7 be able to look at. For this reason, we have gone into space, and space में भी कहाँ गए? L1 point पे, right? If they had asked a question related, if they had given a aspect related to it, we would have answered this. Then, what trajectory Aditya L1 followed to reach Lagrangian points? So you know this at the time of prelims, we have studied it. It kept on increasing its orbit size and eventually went into a hollow orbit around L1 point. Payloads, components के बारे में पूछा है ना? Aditya L1 went with 7 payloads. 4 of them are remote sensing payload and 3 of them are in situ payloads. What is meant by remote sensing payload? देखो Aditya L1 वहाँ पे घूम रहा है and is looking at Earth, दूर से, looking at Sun. So from here, it is trying to understand what is happening inside Sun. So those components which are focused on that are remote sensing payloads. Here we have visible emission line coronagraph. Now, please note these terms carefully. If you'll be able to recall this visible emission line coronagraph, this will be enough for you to explain this in one line. Sun से visible light जो आ रहा है, कोरोना से जो visible light जो आ रहा है, उसको study करने के लिए visible emission line coronagraph. Then solar ultraviolet imaging telescope, it will observe ultraviolet radiation from different zones of the solar atmosphere. Solar low energy X-ray spectrometer, low energy X-rays which are coming, studying that, and high energy L1 orbiting X-ray spectrometer. These are the 4 remote sensing payload which went with Aditya L1, and then there are 3 in situ payloads. In situ payloads mein what would happen is they will wait here. These payloads, these components are at L1 and they are receiving something from Sun. When that thing comes here, they are studying that. When solar particles are reaching here, they are studying that. So Aditya solar particle experiment, in situ measurement of solar particles and ions. Ions which are reaching this point, they are studying that. In situ payloads. Plasma analyzer package for Aditya and advanced triaxial high resolution digital magnetometer. So measuring the magnetic field here, understanding the plasma, analyzing the plasma, and solar particle experiment, studying the solar particles. These are the payloads. अब इनके बारे में बहुत डिटेल में नहीं जाना. We have seen even for Chandrayaan they just wanted you to introduce it. So for Aditya L1, if they want you to introduce it, you should be able to briefly mention them, not in a lot of details. In prelims they may have asked the nitty-gritties, but in mains they will not. Okay, so coming back to, if you are given a question, Aditya L1 का objective क्या है, you will be able to answer. Why Aditya L1 went to L1, you will be able to answer that. The payloads, what are the different payloads that we have? If you are asked to introduce that, you should be able to answer that. Finally, देखो अब आदित्य L1 के बारे में ना ऐसा कोई क्रिटिसिज्म नहीं है, लिमिटेशन नहीं है. चैलेंज नहीं है, दिस इज समथिंग दैट इज एन अस्टाउंडिंग सक्सेस फॉर इंडिया. तो यहां पे विल नॉट हैव टू वरी अबाउट कि व्हाट इज द क्रिटिसिज्म here, what is the limitation here. So we are just concluding by saying the successful placement of Aditya L1 is a resounding vindication of India's investment in space science and technology, which can on the one hand spur fundamental inquiry of our cosmos and on the other hand generate knowledge of strong societal relevance. Now this is a conclusion that I took from one of the Hindu articles, but you can have your own simple conclusion ready. Aditya L1 पे सवाल आएगा, this is how I'm going to conclude. So it did not take us more than 10-15 minutes, but in Aditya L1 we will not study anything beyond this. This will be our preparation for Aditya L1. What is it? What are its objectives? Why at L1? What are the important payloads? And conclude it's a important success of India's space program and will ensure better understanding of the sun. Will not only ensure better understanding of the sun, but would also take our space program further ahead in future. That's it. एक दूसरे वे में आपने कंक्लूड कर दिया. आदित्य L1 बस इतना पढ़ना है. Nothing more, nothing less. This will take care of every requirement because we have. Please note at the time of preliminary examination हमने आदित्य L1 और ज्यादा डिटेल में पढ़ा है. यहाँ पे नहीं करना है, बस इतना करना है. Okay, let's go to Exposat and X-ray polarimetry. Let me take the online doubts. Sorry sir, but still the query has not been resolved. What is your query, Ritesh? I'm asking for online foundation batch for mains test of online batch. Evaluation or I'm not able to. एक बार कॉल पे बात करता हूँ मैं. Okay, I'll speak to you on call. Okay, let's come back. Exposat and X-ray polarimetry. Exposat is another important program that was launched recently, right? यहाँ पे भी I've given you a question. Discuss the scientific significance of Exposat in advancing our understanding of high energy astrophysical phenomena. How does it complements NASA's imaging X-ray polarimetry explorer (IPXC)? How is it complementing IPXC? तो पहले, सबसे पहले, before we go to Exposat, do we all know the full form of Exposat? X-ray polarimetry satellite. Now, what is it doing? It is studying polarization of X-rays. It is studying Exposat is doing what? It is studying polarization of X-rays. What is meant by it studying polarization of X-rays? X-rays are being emitted by various celestial bodies. Black holes, yeah, area around black hole. Black hole does not emit anything. So area around black hole, neutron stars, they are emitting X-rays, and what is happening in that neutron star? What is the magnetic field there? What is the electric field there? Is leading to polarization of this X-ray. So Exposat is trying to study that polarization, and by studying the polarization of X-ray, it is trying to understand that far away body, that neutron star or that black hole. So first thing, Exposat is a specialized science mission that studies the polarization of X-rays in space. सबसे पहले, this is what we should be able to write in our answer when we are introducing Exposat, X-ray polarization satellite, polarimetry satellite. Polarimetry is measurement of polarization. X-ray polarimetry satellite. So this is a satellite which is doing what? Which is measuring polarization of X-rays. Okay. It was launched on board PSLV on 1st of January 2000. Aditya L1 भी January 2024 में L1 पे पहुंचा. It was launched in September from Earth, but it reached L1 when in January, and this was also launched on 1st of January 2024. Where? Into space, into low Earth orbit. So Exposat will revolve around Earth in low Earth orbit, and it will be observing X-rays coming from faraway areas, and it will be measuring their polarization, how polarized they are. By measuring their polarization, they will try to understand the source, and this way they will be able to understand the faraway object. क्या इतना समझ में आ रहा है सबको? Is everyone clear about it? So Exposat is a specialized science mission that studies the polarization of X-rays in space. It was launched on board PSLV C-58 on 1st of January 2024. This is one introduction that you can very easily write, and rather than just trying to cram this, अपनी भाषा में लिख दो ना. X-ray polarimetry satellite Exposat is focused on polarimetry, measuring the polarization of X-rays coming from far away celestial bodies. यहाँ पे X-rays in space बोला था, अब X-rays coming from far away celestial bodies. Will we all be able to write a good introductory line about Exposat comfortably without any problem? Okay. Why do we need to study polarization of X-rays? We need to study polarization of X-rays because by this we'll be able to understand the body which polarized it. Do we understand what is polarization? Electromagnetic field का polarization क्या होता है? X-rays का polarization, we understand that. Now, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है, सारे टीचर्स ने ये डिस्कस कर दिया कि नहीं रेडार से ये भी कर लोगे, तो इस तरह की चीजें हैं, तो डू नॉट वरी, कट ऑफ कम ही जाएगा, बिल्कुल चिंता मत करो. डू नॉट ज्वाइन एनी प्रोग्राम, अगर डाउट है कोई तो डू नॉट ज्वाइन एनी मेंस प्रोग्राम, 14 दिन बाद कर लेना, बट अच्छे से पढ़ते रहो. डू नॉट थिंक कि कट ऑफ विल बी 100 एंड आई एम स्कोरिंग 90, तो आई डू नॉट हैव, यू हैव वेरी गुड चांस, यू हैव वेरी गुड. 90 वाले तो सेलेक्ट हो ही रहे हैं, 80-85 के बीच वाले भी सेलेक्ट हो जाएंगे. ठीक है, ये स्टार्ट किया तुम, स्टार्ट हो गया, यहाँ तो नहीं हुआ, मेरा तो नहीं हुआ. पर दिल्ली में ऐसा हो रहा है यार. मैं छत्तीसगढ़ के किसी रिमोट एरिया में, बिहार के किसी ट्राइबल एरिया में, वेस्ट बंगाल के किसी पिछड़े वाले एरिया में बैठ के क्लास ले रहा होता और बीच में लाइट जा रही होती. एक बार नहीं, आज सुबह से 10 बार हो चुका है. एक निशाद सर लाइव क्लास ले रहे थे और बच्चे ये सोचने लगे कि इस इंस्टीट्यूशन में ऐसा ही होता है ना, इस इंस्टीट्यूशन में ही कुछ गड़बड़ है, क्या बताएं. स्टार्ट हो गया है क्या यार? तो कनेक्ट, हाँ हाँ, इट्स वर्किंग, इट्स वर्किंग. रडार से ये भी कर लोगे, इस तरह की चीजें हैं. चलिए, let's continue. हाँ, तो what we were talking about Exposat. We said all of us will be able to write a simple intro for Exposat comfortably. Now, why do we need to study polarization? Because when we study polarization, X-rays are being emitted, and when X-rays are getting polarized because of electric field and magnetic field, by studying this polarization here on Earth, we'll be able to understand the celestial body in a much better way. The pulsar, the black hole, the neutron star and everything in a much better way. For that reason, we need to study polarization. Now, Exposat goes with two important payloads. One is called POLIX, polarimeter instrument of X-rays. Other is called X-SPECT. I'm covering this, I'm giving you one line about the two payloads just because Chandrayaan pe about the parts they had asked you to introduce it. The POLIX is doing what? Polarimeter instrument of X-rays is the is measuring the polarimetry parameter. That is, it is measuring how much polarization has happened, degree and angle of polarization. Of which X-rays? X-rays whose energy varies from 8 to 30 kilo electron. X-rays are what? X-rays are electromagnetic waves. They are basically photons. They'll have different energy based on different frequencies. So those X-rays whose energy varies from 8 to 30 kilo electron volt, uska polarimetry is being done by POLIX. Other is X-SPECT, X-ray spectroscopy and timing. It's not measuring polarimetry, or it's not doing polarimetry, polarization ka measurement. Rather, it is studying X-rays of energy 0.8 to 15 kilo electron volt, and with time how much X-rays are changing, whether they are increasing, whether they are decreasing, it is studying that. So, Exposat's 2 payloads. Tomorrow when you get a question on this, you should be very quickly able to write POLIX and expect, and briefly said POLIX is doing polarimetry of X-rays in the 8 to 15 kiloelectron, 8 to 30 kiloelectron volt, and expect is doing spectrometry study of X-rays which are coming, how much are they coming, what is happening to them with time. That's just one line about each one of them, nothing else. Okay, now why do we need to do? What is the purpose of this? One thing that we understood, that we will be able to better understand things, better understand the faraway celestial bodies. Which celestial bodies are we talking about? Black holes. Dekho, nothing comes out of black hole, but just before event horizon, a lot of activity is happening, a lot of X-rays are getting polarized, they are reaching us. By that we will be able to understand the details of the black hole to some extent. Similarly, understanding neutron star. Neutron stars are what? Neutron stars are the last stage of a large star. हमने star का life cycle पढ़ा था. So we had studied star का life cycle. Some star will become black dwarf, some star will become neutron star, some star will become black hole. They asked something else. Which star will get exhausted early? They asked something else. But because we had studied all these things, it was easier to think over that. So this is another thing that they will be doing. Better understanding neutron stars, more insight into high energy astrophysical process. Now this is another key significance. What is this? High energy X-rays were never being studied this much. When we are able to study this, we will not only be able to better understand the faraway objects, but we will be able to better understand the behavior of high energy electromagnetic waves, and that will help us verify various models of physics. The standard model of particle physics hai, a lot of them depend on how high energy electromagnetic waves function, how do they change. If we are able to study that, it will be able to, the Exposat mission will be able to help us in this also. And finally, future advancement. This is the first mission that we have launched for X-ray polarization study. This is just the first step towards more advanced launches for better understanding of the universe in future. So the purpose of astrophysics that Exposat will be able to serve. दूर की चीजें तो पढ़ेगा ही, but it will be able to help us explain the characteristic of X-rays, how do they behave at high energy, high electric field, high magnetic field condition. It will be able to help us in understanding that. It will be able to help us verify various models of physics, and it is just the first step. In future we'll be able to come up with more such programs for better understanding the universe as well as physics. अब आपसे पूछा जाएगा एक्सपोसैट का पर्पस क्या है? Will we be able to write it? Polarization of X-ray purpose है, but that's only one line. You have to cover different dimensions. You should be able to do that. Now, internationally, in recent years, X-ray polarization has become an important thing. Or X-ray polarization has polarization studies have emerged as an important aspect. Before this, we were studying polarization, but we were studying polarization of visible light. We were studying polarization of radio waves. X-ray polarization was not being studied because it was difficult to do. But in recent years, more advancements in this area have taken place, and various projects. For example, एक ISRO का project है, Imaging X-ray Polarimetry Explorer, IPXE. It is क्या हुआ? Sorry, हाँ, NASA का, मैंने क्या ISRO बोल दिया? ना, ISRO का तो Exposat है ना, right? NASA का Imaging X-ray Polarimetry Explorer, IPXE. What is it doing? It is studying X-ray polarization in 2 to 8 kilo electron volt वाले X-rays का. So with this, they are doing X-ray polarimetry of X-rays of 2 to 8 kilo electron volt. India का POLIX is doing polarimetry of 8 to 30. So together they can do polarimetry studies of 2 to 30 kilo electron volt, and thus they are complementing each other. IPXC of NASA and ISRO's Exposat are complementing each other, right? एक aspect ये भी हो सकता है in your question. देखो, if I take you to the question again that I had prepared, you will see how does it complement NASA's imaging X-ray polarimetry explorer IPXC. 10 mark का question है. You do not have to write 5 points about everything. You just have to say कि IPXC was launched in 2001 and is focused on this energy range. It is focused on 2 to 8 kilo electron volt X-rays. We are focused on 8 to 30 kilo electron volt X-rays, and thus we both complement. Simple ये, simple इतना बताना है. Okay, now let's go to. So in conclusion में again, Exposat is not something where we have any criticism. This mission was launched in a very successful manner. So as such, limitation and those things are not there. Only limitation that you can write if you are asked कि भाई India has a lot of people who are not able to get food. Why are we spending so much on space? But that's a very silly socialistic limitation, है ना? That's no more valid. That's a idiotic limitation कि भाई फिर तो साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी में एडवांसमेंट करो ही मत, सबको फ्री में खाना बांटते रहो, राइट? सबको खाना बांटना is important. I'm not trying to degrade that in any way, but that criticism is no more valid. So as such, we do not have any criticism of what Exposat, and that's why we are just coming to a conclusion where we are saying it's a landmark mission which is going to revolutionize our understanding of high energy astrophysics, X-rays, high energy astrophysics, leading to new discoveries and advancement in the boundaries of human. राइट, अब ना यहाँ पे आप एक्सपोसैट की जगह आदित्य L1 लिख देते एंड हाई एनर्जी एस्ट्रोफिजिक्स की जगह सन लिख देते. दिस कुड हैव बीन अ कंक्लूजन इन आदित्य L1. Aditya L1 is a landmark mission which is going to revolutionize our understanding of sun, leading to new discoveries and advancement in the boundaries of knowledge. That would have been a. देखो, once you practice some conclusions, you'll start writing good conclusion in most of the answers. पेज पे तो एक ही सवाल आएगा ना, आदित्य L1 पे आए या एक्सपोसैट पे आए या किसी और चीज पे आए, गगनयान पे आए, है ना? You can use a way to conclude your answer, a positive way to conclude your answer as a conclusion there by adding and removing useful keywords. Okay, let's go to Gagan. Let's come to Gagan. Should we write RRI or you? नहीं, you should write Raman Research Institute. RRI तो मैंने लिख दिया है short notes short रखने के लिए. तो POLIX was developed by RRI, Raman Research Institute, and जो दूसरा वाला था, it was developed by U Rao Space Center, UR Rao Space Center, right? Let's come to Gaganyaan. Now, did we all study Gaganyaan at the time of preliminary examination? यहाँ पे again we do not have to study every nitty-gritty. We should be able to define what Gaganyaan is, what its purpose is, what its significance is, and to achieve human space flight, what are the things that we have done. इसका भी वही criticism होता है कि why are we spending thousands of crore rupees on sending humans to space when we do not have money to feed everyone. This was the reason why ISRO lagged behind, and in fact the father of India's space program, who is considered the father of India's space program, Dr. Vikram Sarabhai, he also agreed with this argument in the beginning. When US and Russia, they were planning, they were making efforts to send humans to space, he said कि right now that's not going to serve any purpose for us, and that's why we did not emphasize on human space flights then. But now our socio-economic conditions have changed, and we are making efforts to send humans to space. We'll understand why it is important, we'll come to that, but start with what is Gaganyan? It's a technology demonstration project. Why am I saying technology demonstration project? Because यहाँ पे ना ऐसा the purpose is not to do a lot of experiment, though we'll do some microgravity experiment, but Gaganyan will be a technology demonstration project where we will demonstrate our ability to send humans to space and bring them back safe. So Gaganyan is envisaged as a technology demonstration project to showcase human spaceflight capability by India. Under this, ISRO plans to launch a crew of 3 members in low Earth orbit for a 3-day mission and bring them back safe. Even if I had not written bring them back safely, it is understood. नहीं, it is understood कि वहां जाके छोड़ तो देना नहीं है, लेके आना है. Simple definition. What is Gaganyan? What is the purpose of it? So, देखो, this is one definition based intro. You could have started with background based intro. You could have started with at the dawn of India's space program. The father of India's space program, Vikram Sarabhai, disagreed with projects like Gaganyan, which is focused on sending humans to space, because at that time it was more important to focus on those projects जो socio-economic needs fulfill. But with changes in the socio-economic condition and advancement in science and technology, Indian Space Research Organization, yeah, ISRO, is focusing on sending to space under Gaganyan mission. This is one way you can introduce your answer. Background based, definition based, data based. You could have data based. आप इस तरह से कर सकते थे. So far, only 3 countries have sent humans to space: US, USSR, US, Russia, and China. India or ISRO is working to make India the 4th country to achieve. This is another way in which you could have started your answer. तो ये कल हम discuss करेंगे when you will write answers, and we'll discuss what are the different ways you could have written your introduction. We'll talk about these things too. But Gaganyan में will we be able to write a good intro? Gaganyan को define कर दो, background बता दो, or give some data. We said कि भाई 3 countries have done it. ISRO is working towards making India the 4th country to send humans to space. Introduction, अलग-अलग तरीके से introduction. All of you will not write the same introduction. All of you will write your own. You will develop your own way of writing introduction. All of you, like some of you may perceive कि definition is the best intro here. Some of you may feel कि if I start with background, that is giving more weightage or more weight to my answer. Some of you may feel if I start with some data, that will give us, that may fetch me some more marks. In intro only I am showing my knowledge. It's not asked which are the countries which have done it. Chandrayaan के case में it was asked which are the countries which have done it. So in your core part of your answer you will not deal with it, है ना? तो intro में ही बता दिया कि भाई 3 countries have done it. We are working towards making India the 4th country to do it. यही बोलते हैं हम DBD, definition, background or data. The ways in which you can introduce your answers. You can define, you can give background, it can be historical background or some other background, or context and data. Background में current context भी आ सकता है, historical context, current context and data. These are the ways in which we introduce our answer. Okay, now significance. Why human spaceflight? Before going into what are all the things that we'll be doing in this Gaganyan mission, why Gaganyan mission is important, why Gaganyan mission is significant. Why are we doing it? First is advancement in space technology. Our next projects would be about having our own space station, sending humans to moon, and for that first thing that we should be able to do is send humans to space. तभी तो space station रहेगा, नहीं तो it will just be a satellite, right? So it is first step towards future space program. Why do we have to make Gaganyan successful? Because it is the success of Gaganyan which will ensure that our plans over the next 10-15 years of different programs, of different projects will be implemented. बहुत जल्दी नहीं आ गए आप, कुछ काम था, कोई बात नहीं, पढ़ने से इंपॉर्टेंट काम था, गर्लफ्रेंड के साथ डेट पे जाना था, नहीं, उस फिर कोई जरूरी काम नहीं बचा, है ना. There's only one excuse for which I can let you come late, बाकी टाइम पे आओ. Okay, I tell this to everyone, till the time you are 30, you give a lot of importance to your partner, girlfriend, boyfriend. आप 30 प्लस हो जाते हो, मेरी उम्र में आ जाते हो, तो आप समझते हो कि पेरेंट्स आर मोर इम्पॉर्टेंट. तो उस टाइम आप में से जो 30 प्लस है वो अपने पेरेंट्स का एक्सक्यूज बना के लेट आ सकता है, तो 30 से कम वाला है वो अपने बॉयफ्रेंड गर्लफ्रेंड का एक्सक्यूज बना के लेट आ सकता है, बाकी लेट नहीं आओगे. ओके, तो फोन भी आप उठा सकते हो अगर गर्लफ्रेंड का हो, 30 प्लस हो तो मम्मी पापा का. ओके, लेट्स कम टू, तो व्हाई, व्हाट इज द सिग्निफिकेंस ऑफ ह्यूमन स्पेस फ्लाइट प्रोग्राम. पहला सिंपल सा चीज कि भाई this is a prerequisite for our future important programs, be it sending humans to moon, be it having a space station. Prime Minister Modi have already set a target. We should have a space station by 2035. Space station by 2035, so we should be able to send humans there, no? So we have to have Gagan successful way before that. We should be able to send humans to moon by 2040. Moon is how far away from Earth? 3.5 lakh kilometers away. 350 kilometers away भेज के वापस तो लेके आओ. Only then will you be able to do that. So why Gagan is important? Gagan is important because it will be the base on which our future programs would be developed. First, Gagan is important because there are lots of resources outside Earth, and if we want to get some control over those resources, we should be able to send humans there. For example, moon is having a lot of helium-3 which can solve the problem of energy on Earth in a very sustainable way. But for that we'll have to send humans to moon. We'll have to have claim over that. China is doing it, USA is planning it, Artemis Accord में USA is planning to send humans to moon. We should also be able to do that. तो उसके लिए पहले sending humans to space is crucial. Then more R&D in space. When scientists will be in space, when they will be in zero gravity, they will be able to do microgravity experiment which they cannot perform on Earth. For that reason, it's important. Then advancement in science and technology. देखो, when we develop a project like Gaganyaan, a lot of improvements have to happen in different areas. For example, we will see that our launch vehicle Mark 3, LVM3 or GSLV Mark 3 had to go through some changes to become human rated. अब वो बन गया है HLVM3. LVM3 था, human rated होने के बाद हम उसे बोल रहे हैं HLVM3. So we did advancements there so that that rocket will be suitable for taking humans to space. Right? So a lot of scientific advancement is taking place just because of Gaganyaan. Then it encourages scientific community. In 1960s and 70s, some scientists wanted that India should explore sending humans to space, and we said no, we should not be doing it. This discouraged scientists, this demotivated them. India will not give us the same opportunity which US may be able to give, which Russia may be able to give. But when we are able to launch these kind of projects, more scientists are encouraged to stay back in India, to work in India, to contribute in India. Then technological spin-off will benefit other sectors also. हमने देखा था, अभी एक क्वेश्चन भी यूपीएससी had asked कि स्पेस सेक्टर का बाकी सिविलियन एप्लीकेशंस क्या क्या है. So a lot of things which we develop because of Gaganyaan will have application in other sectors also. Because in Gaganyaan, what do we want to do? We want to send humans to space. They should be able to survive in that condition. So a lot of equipments would be developed. Some robots have been developed. All those may have different applications. Okay, in fact, using the previous programs of ISRO, we have had various socio-economic applications. For example, lithium-ion batteries which we are using in buses right now, they were initially developed by ISRO for rockets. Fire-resistant chemicals that ISRO will be developing for human flights may also be useful in petroleum industry, safeguarding workers from the fire accidents. Because when humans are being protected, when rocket is going through, when the Gagan will eventually come back into Earth through this atmosphere at a lot of temperature outside, friction ki wajah se, the outside temperature will be very high, and still human beings are protected inside, means we will be creating those material which will protect them. All those may have other societal applications as well. Then improvement in higher education, this will encourage more and more people to go for, more and more institutions to go for space, science and technology. जब मैं when I was choosing my BTech course, I could not find a single IIT, उस टाइम 7 IIT हुआ करते थे, I could not find a single IIT where astronomy में कुछ पढ़ाया जाता था. स्पेस साइंस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी में रिसर्च हो रहा है, एक भी IIT में नहीं होता था. तो IIT बॉम्बे में एक ब्रांच था एरोनॉटिक्स इंजीनियर, बट दैट वाज फॉर एयरप्लेन. I was confused कि वो शायद स्पेस सेक्टर के लिए होगा. Why? Because people are not interested, institutions are not interested, but these kind of missions would be able to help us achieve that. And finally, symbolism, soft power, great power status. If only 3 countries have done it and we end up doing it, we'll be among the 4 countries in the world which have the capability of sending humans to space. तो देखो यहाँ पे हमारे पास बहुत सारे genuine dimensions हैं. So here if we have to write 8 points makes sense. But when we have only 4 dimensions and हम उसी को repetitive way में दूसरे language में लिखते जा रहे हैं, that will not fetch you more marks. Are we able to understand this? Okay. Now, key components of human space flight. What are all the things that we are doing for making human space flight successful? पहले तो एक human space flight center ही है. It was established in Bangalore, not very important, but let's come to vehicle. Our LVM-3 launch vehicle Mark III was human rated. Its various components were tested and modified in such a way that it will be safe for sending humans to space, and thus it is now being called HLVM-3. The version that will be used for launching Gaganyaan is human rated LVM-3 HLVM-3. Then HLVM-3 also consists of what is known as crew escape system. What is crew escape system? When the rocket is launched and something goes wrong, rocket तो blast हो जाता है ना, but we cannot allow humans to get into trouble. So there is a crew escape system which will quickly able to separate this crew from rest of the rocket. So that has also been tested, that has also been developed. Then there is orbital module. एक तो rocket हो गया, rocket के साथ crew escape system at the top of it. Then there is orbital module. Orbital module, see, let's say this is the rocket. It will take orbital module to space, and this orbital module will revolve around Earth. Rocket will not revolve around Earth. Rocket will just take them to orbit, and the orbital module will revolve around. In this orbital module, we'll have crew module where crew is there. This crew module should be such that the temperature, pressure and the other basic requirements, basic human needs can be taken care of. वो वहाँ पे खाना खा पाएंगे, वो वहाँ पे nature's call attend कर पाएंगे, सब. Crew module would have all that. It will also have parachutes when it will be coming back on Earth. It should be able to open its parachute to land slowly. It will also have an environment control and life support system, ECLSS. It will have a gynoid. Gynoid is it's a female feminine robot. Initially, 2 of the launches of Gaganyaan will be uncrewed. Humans will not be going, robots would be going, and there would be various sensors on their body by which will measure what is the maximum temperature, what is the maximum acceleration, what is the maximum pressure that they faced. अगर उन्होंने maximum temperature 100 degree face किया तो we cannot send humans in that condition, right? Then there will also be, so देखो, the orbital module will have two components. One is crew module, other is service module. Orbital module, something that will be revolving, it will have a crew module and then it will have a service module. Service module क्या करेगा? Service module will provide basic services. For example, it will have propulsion system. Propulsion system क्यों? Rocket ने आपको एक जगह छोड़ दिया, you are orbiting, but suppose you want to go to a bigger orbit. Propulsion system will be able to help you. When you want to come back on Earth, land on Earth, again you'll have to change your direction, propulsion system will help. But it's not part of crew module, it is part of service module, which are both part of orbital module. These are the various components that have been developed. Then there are precursor missions that we have launched. Jैसे there is integrated airdrop test, there is pad abort test, there is test vehicle flights. Where test vehicle flights में we tested various engines of LVM3, we human rated them. Then in these tests, integrated airdrop test, landing properly, pad abort test, in case of accident how abort takes place, all these kind of tests have been done. Crew training facility has been developed in Bangalore. Please note, crew training facility has been developed in Bangalore where some basic training is being given, but for advanced training, people are still being sent to Russia. Then we have also developed capabilities of recovering astronauts safely. There are some other things that has been done for making Gaganyaan successful. One is Sakhi, Space-Borne Assistance and Knowledge Hub for Crew Interaction. It's an app which has been developed by Vikram Sarabhai Space Center that will help astronauts in Gaganyaan to keep looking up at vital information, body temperature, pressure, surrounding situation, वो सारी चीजें Sakhi will be able to help them in doing that. Pilots have also been selected who will be going for training. So in February 2024, name of the 4 pilots were made public. Then way back in 2018, when Prime Minister Modi had announced this for the first time, Gaganyaan mission, 10,000 crore rupees were allocated as budget for this. These are all the things that have been done under Gaganyaan mission. Now, बहुत सारे टेस्ट, बहुत सारे एक्सपेरिमेंट्स और भी हुए हैं, बट माई पॉइंट इज इवन दिस इज मोर देन व्हाट इज नीडेड. आपको जब 250 वर्ड्स में आंसर लिखना होगा, व्हाट इज गगनयान, व्हाट इज इट्स सिग्निफिकेंस, डिस्कस इट्स की कंपोनेंट्स, will this not be enough? This will be way more than enough. Then why do we have to study everything else in a lot of detail? एक डिबेट बेस्ड क्वेश्चन आ सकता है, do you think spending thousands of crores of rupees in sending 3 humans to space and bringing them back is suitable for a developing country like India? वहां पे भी you should be able to explain why Gaganyaan is very significant. वहां पे conclusion will be different. While ensuring that food reaches every household in the country is crucial, but at the same time it's very important to ensure that in science and technology we do not remain backwards. Are we getting it? Okay, so these were 2-3 questions that I just wanted to discuss from space sector. Tomorrow I'll have a bigger list of topics from space sector. जैसे मुझे अभी आर्टेमिस अकॉर्ड पढ़ाना है, मुझे थोड़ा सा चाइंगी 6 मिशन, इंटरनेशनल मिशन हम 2 डिस्कस करेंगे, एक आर्टेमिस अकॉर्ड वाला, एक चाइना का चांग-ई 6. इंटरनेशनली दीज आर द 2 थिंग्स दैट विल डू. इंडिया के हम बहुत सारी चीजें और डिस्कस करेंगे. विल कम अप विद द टॉपिक द रॉकेट इंजन टेक्नोलॉजी इन इंडिया, व्हाट हैव वी डन सो फार, PSLV, GSLV, GSLV Mark 3, and what are we doing to improve it further. न्यू, तो वहाँ पे ब्रीफली एक एक लाइन में यू शुड बी एबल टू टॉक अबाउट न्यू जनरेशन लॉन्च व्हीकल, सेमी क्रायोजेनिक इंजन, यू शुड बी एबल टू लिस्ट डाउन ऑल दोज थिंग्स. कुछ टॉपिक स्पेस के अभी और पढ़ेंगे, दिस इज नॉट द कंप्लीट थिंग, बट ब्रीफली लेट अस ऑल्सो कम टू बायोटेक्नोलॉजी के, बायोटेक्नोलॉजी एंड हेल्थ से रिलेटेड 1-2 टॉपिक. टुडे वी जस्ट हैव अ डेमो क्लास, तो आई एम नॉट गोइंग इनटू द डिटेल्ड कवरेज दैट विल बी मेकिंग टुमारो, बट एक बार बायोटेक्नोलॉजी से रिलेटेड छोटी छोटी चीजें और देख लेते. जैसे अभी वन ऑफ द टॉपिक्स ऑफ हेल्थ विच इज वेरी पॉपुलर इज बर्ड फ्लू पैंडेमिक. राइट, द वर्ल्ड इज फेसिंग इट्स वर्स्ट बर्ड फ्लू सिचुएशन. In fact, bird flu has reached Antarctica also. Pre से पहले we had studied, before pre we had studied that several mammals on Antarctica had died, several birds on Antarctica had died because of bird flu. So abhi we do not have to worry about that biodiversity wala aspect, but we should be able to define what bird flu is, why it has emerged as a major challenge, how do we deal with it. To deal with the challenge of bird flu or any zoonotic disease, One Health ka concept becomes very important. We will understand what is One Health strategy, why One Health strategy is important, what has India done to achieve success in One Health strategy, and what should be the way forward, what are the challenges, what is the way forward that is there. Recently April May में इस टॉपिक से एसोसिएटेड एक न्यूज़पेपर आर्टिकल था कि वी नीड टू रिफॉर्म आवर पाउल्ट्री सेक्टर. व्हाट आर द चैलेंजेस दैट द पाउल्ट्री सेक्टर इज फेसिंग. कॉन्टेक्स्ट तो यही है, बर्ड फ्लू वाला कॉन्टेक्स्ट है, इसमें हम पाउल्ट्री सेक्टर डिस्कस कर रहे हैं, बट व्हाट आर द की चैलेंजेस दैट दे आर फेसिंग एंड हाउ डू वी टेक केयर ऑफ दोस चैलेंजेस. उसमें एक आई थिंक पार्लियामेंट्री स्टैंडिंग कमेटी का एक रिपोर्ट है अबाउट पाउल्ट्री सेक्टर, विल टॉक अबाउट दैट. Again, Gagan ka conclusion will depend on the question which is there. Misha conclusion has to be, if the question is elaborate on the significance of Gagan, so positively conclude karo, hai na? A landmark mission which will place India among the top space technology countries in the world. That is one thing. Agar question is about critically analyze, yeah, discuss the key challenges that we are facing in achieving Gaganyaan, achieving success in Gaganyaan, तो उसमें आपको limitations भी बतानी पड़ेंगी, challenges कि हमारे पास खुद का training module नहीं है. In fact, note this thing carefully. Crew module that we are using, we have not developed it at our own. We have imported. तो crew module हमारा खुद का नहीं है. हमारा training advanced training के लिए we had to send people to Russia. These are some of the limitations of our Gaganyaan mission. Limitation in the sense कि we are not completely self-reliant here, we are dependent on other countries, है ना. तो वहाँ पे हम conclude करते टाइम बोलेंगे कि while in the first phase Gaganyaan should be able to demonstrate our ability to send humans to space, in future we should be in a position to have all indigenous components to make us truly self-reliant. नहीं, अब ये ना पूरा नोट नहीं करना है. शायद यूएस से, मैंने भी बस यही पढ़ा था कि इट्स समथिंग दैट इज इम्पोर्टेड, वी वर नॉट एबल टू मेक इट. अक्टूबर में ही द इसरो चीफ हैड सेड कि विल नॉट बी इन अ पोजीशन टू डेवलप आवर ओन क्रू मॉड्यूल. ओके, लेट्स कम टू बर्ड फ्लू पैंडेमिक. अच्छा, तो लुक एट द क्वेश्चन, डिस्कस द की चैलेंजेस इमर्जिंग ग्लोबली ड्यू टू द रीसेंट राइज इन केसेस ऑफ एवियन इन्फ्लुएंजा, सजेस्ट की मेजर्स टू डील विद दीज चैलेंजेस. अब देखो, आपको प्री याद है, प्री के टाइम वी स्टार्टेड विथ we started with influenza virus. उसमें we studied influenza A, influenza B, influenza C, influenza D, right? Then we studied HN protein, H1N1, सारी चीजें समझी थी. फिर हम बर्ड फ्लू पे आए थे, बट यहाँ पे विल नॉट स्टडी ऑल दोज थिंग्स. स्वाइन फ्लू पे क्वेश्चन आने के चांसेस नहीं है. क्वेश्चन विल आइदर बी ऑन बर्ड फ्लू, इट विल बी ऑन वन हेल्थ स्ट्रैटेजी, इट विल बी ऑन zoonotic diseases. So we'll just discuss that part. So let's start with the definition. Avian influenza or bird flu. Avian influenza or bird flu is caused by influenza A. It's a disease caused by influenza A, one of the influenza A viruses. Please note, only virus of H5 or H7 type may become highly pathogenic avian, the HPAI, that is death rates among birds because of H5 and H7 virus may be very high. काफी है. This intro is good enough. If the question is specifically about H5N1, you can also say that H5N1 is the most popular cause of avian or bird flu. Right? Will we be able to introduce, अगर bird flu पे सवाल आता है, क्या हम बता पाएंगे बर्ड फ्लू इज कॉज्ड बाय वन ऑफ द इन्फ्लुएंजा ए वायरसेस. अमंग वेरियस वायरस, H5 and H7 are the highly pathogenic influenza virus, and H5N1 is the most common cause of bird flu. बहुत सारी चीजें हो गई. This is 30-40 वर्ड्स इतना नहीं लिखना होगा एग्जाम में, जस्ट 1 line would be good enough. If we get a question on H5N1, क्या will we be able to introduce it? Will we all be able to introduce it? Tomorrow I'll see how much are you introducing and how much you are doing things. जब वो moment में ना, जब within some time limit you will have to write 3-4 answers. At that time how well you are introducing it will depend on how well you are prepared. आपने पहले कैसे सोच रखा है कि अगर H5N1 पे क्वेश्चन आता है तो मैं उसे कैसे इंट्रोड्यूस करूं. ओके, लेट्स कम बैक. की चैलेंजेस H5N1 वायरस की वजह से क्या क्या इश्यूज हो रहे हैं. फर्स्ट इज पब्लिक हेल्थ चैलेंज. यू मे से दैट इट्स बर्ड फ्लू, it's not impacting humans, then why it's a public health challenge? First is it has impacted humans. 2003 से 2024 के बीच में it has infected 900 humans and death rate has been very high. More than half of them were fatal. Okay, fatality rate is very high. Now they get mutated also. What if by mutation they develop the ability to get transmitted to humans in a much faster way? What लग जाएगी ना? Corona had a fatality rate of 1% or so. 100 लोग इन्फेक्ट होते थे, 1 लोग मर रहे होते थे. They have fatality rate of 60%. So there is a grave risk of sustained transmission if the virus collects a few mutations while spreading among various mammals. It has infected cattle, it has infected bears. So if while passing through those it takes on some genes, some mutations which allows it to easily get transmitted to humans, it may become a huge public health challenge. Are we getting it? So देखो technical चीज नहीं. When we are talking about challenge, we'll have to talk about some core concrete thing, why it is challenging for us, rather than H type of protein, N type of protein. Mains examination will not have to worry about those dimensions. We'll have to understand why it can be a public health challenge. Then it has negative economic impact also. H5N1 virus has created billions of, I'm using the word billions, birds have been killed all across the world over the last 3-4 years. It has led to economic loss, plus it is also leading to reduction in demand and the sector is suffering. Biodiversity loss. Bird flu is not only impacting birds. हमने while studying bird biodiversity, we had studied this key, which is the most common type of bird in the world. Chicken. Chicken का population, human population is how much? 7-8 billion. Chicken population is 30 billion. So as such, इनके मरने से biodiversity को impact नहीं हो रहा. But bird flu has spread to other species also. The cattle में it's spreading, bears में. Penguins in Antarctica were found to be dead after being infected by bird flu. Please note, penguins तो bird ही होते हैं. A lot of other protected birds, wild birds, are facing challenge, are facing issue. People who haven't studied with PMP don't know the stuff you have taught other people. Please do tell us about these things like polarization in brief. I'll try doing that, but the point is it will unnecessarily make our classes big. Mains mein you will not need to write the detailed definition of what polarization is. So in case you don't know it, just Google it once, briefly understand it. देखो, in preliminary examination, again I'll tell you, in preliminary, at the time of preliminary examination, I taught science and technology for 40-50 hours. Perhaps more than that. ज़्यादा. That we cannot do at the time of mains examination. Now, you have to understand that, and that's why जब वो scope रहता है तो I have the scope of explaining polarization, Polaroid glasses, all the stories. In this situation, I do not have that scope. So only that thing which you are going to write in the examination hall, मैं सिर्फ वो बताने वाला हूँ. I'm not going to cover the basics of the subject. Okay, now come back to. तो हाँ, we were talking about the negative impact of bird flu, public health challenge, negative economic impact, potential to spread uncontrollably, biodiversity loss, we understand the biodiversity loss, increased public health expenditure. Governments all over the world are taking measures, and a lot of spending is happening because of what? A lot of spending is happening because governments have to promote more research and development for development of vaccines, etc. जैसे US में cattle में spread हुआ है. The US government has recently issued a request for information from various companies who will be capable of making a vaccine, not for humans but for cattle, because cattle मर रहे हैं तो उनको loss हो रहा है. Similarly, you will see scientists at University of Pennsylvania have developed an mRNA vaccine which have shown good results in preclinical trials. You will say it's a good thing. It's a good thing, but we needed it. We needed to spend this much money. We needed to spend this much R&D resources because the bird flu has become such a huge issue, such a huge challenge. Okay, what is the level of risk to humans? As we have said, right now there is not a lot of risk. In last 20 years, more than 20 years, just 900 people have been known to be infected. Very small population, very small percentage. But with some mutation, it may become a huge problem. Okay, steps which should be taken. What do we need to do? अब आपको शायद समझ में आ रहा होगा कि at the time of prelims, we did not have to worry about these things. What do we need to do? We went into the science behind it, the nitty-gritties. H-type protein, N-type protein, subvariants and all those kind of things. But at the time of mains examination, what is the virus? What is the problem that it is causing? How do we deal with those problems? How do we deal with it? Okay, one thing that we need to do is, first thing here, we need to have more investment in surveillance and early detection. We have to, when the bird flu cases are coming, we have to know it as soon as possible and take preventive measures like culling of birds and all those things. In countries like India, it sometimes become difficult because किसी गाँव में bird flu का case आया, वहाँ पे बहुत सारे birds मर रहे हैं. The Animal Husbandry Department doesn't even get to know. Ministry of Health and Family Welfare doesn't even get to know. We need, because this has become such a big issue, we need to spend more money to ensure better surveillance to identify the problem. Okay, then various preventive measures have to be promoted, including जैसे wearing of protective gears by people who are working in this field. Who are the people who have been infected? Recently, some people in US have been infected. These were those people who were working in close proximity with these birds without any protective gears. Because bird flu has become such a challenge, people who are working in proximity with these birds, whether in the farmlands or whether in the poultry shops, they should be having protective gears. Then basic things like ensuring that people are only consuming pasteurized milk and well cooked poultry meat and eggs is also crucial. Milk में, through milk also the virus may spread. Cattle को virus affect कर रहा है, so the milk should be pasteurized. We should be, so these are all preventive measures. We should be eating eggs or poultry, other poultry food products which are properly cooked. Then concept of One Health needs to be prioritized. We'll talk more about One Health in the next section. One Health का जो concept है वो बोलता है कि यार human health, animal health, environmental health, these three things should be taken together, should be looked at together. You will not be able to take care of human health without taking care of animal health and environment. So it needs to be prioritized. So we will study this thing in more detail in the coming section, so I am not spending time here for now. A system to broadly survey, monitor wild birds arriving in India is also crucial. देखो, how has this spread to Antarctica? Antarctica में कोई chicken लेके गया, उससे नहीं spread हुआ है. Birds in South America were infected and then those birds migrated to Antarctica, infection took place. Similarly in India, wild birds from all over the world keep coming to India. At that time, we have to develop some mechanism so that we are able to properly survey these birds. आप बोलोगे यार सारे birds को survey करेंगे, नहीं, कुछ को survey करोगे, you will be able to at least identify the problem and take measures. Finally, international cooperation on vaccine development. COVID-19 का example shows that if the world comes together and it prioritizes vaccine development, then it could be fast-tracked and affordable vaccine would be made available to everyone. With advancement in science and technology, it has become possible now. Things like mRNA vaccines, which were not possible 20 years back, have become possible. तो यहाँ पे जैसे इस वाले पॉइंट को आप लिख रहे हो तो कंक्लूड करते टाइम आप ये भी लिख सकते थे, द recent Nobel Prize to mRNA vaccine indicates that vaccine technology has advanced a lot, and with proper cooperation bird flu के लिए भी vaccines would be developed in a much faster. I hope we understand now. If a topic on bird flu is tomorrow, when you write a answer on bird flu, you'll write a good answer. Intro, challenges. Abhi na, I'll briefly let us discuss one or two more topics, then I'll briefly also talk about how do we further make short notes. इसके भी ना सारे topics को हम 25-25 words में summarize करेंगे. अभी right now you have one topic in one page, 1.5 page. We'll have every topic in 5 lines. How, when you are going home and revising it, how do you note down everything in 5 lines so that your entire science and technology can be on 2 pages to quickly revise everything. 25 keywords से आपको revise करना है, तो a day before examination those 25 keywords should be good enough for you to revise that. We'll talk about that also. First come to your bird flu wala topic. I hope now you'll be able to, all of you will be able to write a good answer on bird flu. Definition, challenges, how do we deal with it. Okay, One Health को थोड़ा सा समझते हैं. What is One Health approach? What is One Health approach? तो पहली चीज तो ये, One Health का मतलब क्या है? It says that health of human, animal and environment are interrelated, and when you are focused on improving human health, you should also be focused on animal and environment health. So One Health is an approach that recognizes that health of people is closely connected to health of animals and health of our shared environment. Please note, One Health is not a new concept. Even if you go to ancient India, say there are writings of Hippocrates which says that there is a relationship between public health and clean environment. So they did not use the term One Health, but environment, good clean environment is crucial for human health, is something that has been discussed since ancient times, and common sense भी है, right? हम भी बचपन से ये समझते आए हैं कि हमारे घर के चारों तरफ बहुत गंदगी रहेगी तो हमारे chances of बीमार होना would be higher, right? So will we be able to define One Health? First thing, One Health approach. If you are asked a question related to One Health approach, will we be able to define it? One Health approach recognizes that health of people is connected with health of animal and health of overall. ये लाइन हम लिख पाने की कैपेबिलिटी हमारे पास होनी चाहिए. ओके, नाउ why One Health approach is crucial, why One Health approach is important. ये 4-5 चीजें, I've just summarized them in one line. Controlling the outbreak of zoonotic disease. If animals are healthy, if our birds were healthy, chances of bird flu would have been much lesser. If our environment was healthy, then those bats which are causing disease for us, Nipah virus and all, they would not have ventured into human habitation. Nipah virus disease is being caused because some bat comes and eats some fruit and human gets in touch with that fruit. But why is that bat coming into human habitation? Because in forest it's not able to find the fruit. So One Health approach is crucial because if we follow it, if we keep our environment good, if we keep our animals good, we will be able to control the outbreak of these zoonotic diseases. First, if we will be able to improve food safety and security. How will we improve food safety and security? अरे वही सोचो ना, अभी आप अंडे खा रहे हो, सुबह आप में से कुछ लोग जिम जाते होंगे, तो वैसे 6-6 बॉइल्ड अंडे करके खा रहे हो. दैट अंडा में कॉज बर्ड फ्लू इफ नॉट प्रॉपरली कुक्ड. ऐसा होता है ना, हाफ फ्राई खाएंगे आज, नहीं ऐसा नहीं होता. I got to know about these concepts when I went to रुड़की, वहाँ पता चला कैंटीन में हाफ फ्राई का कॉन्सेप्ट भी होता था, जहाँ अंडा आधा कच्चा है, आधा फ्राइड है, आधा कच्चा है. दैट में लीड टू स्प्रेड ऑफ बर्ड फ्लू. अगर एनवायरमेंट इज नॉट गुड, water availability would not be there. If your environment is not good, pollinators would suffer. Will your food security suffer? Yes. One Health approach is thus crucial to ensure food safety also. Your food is safe, it's not polluted, it's not full of diseases, and food security also. In case exam में पूछा जाएगा ये सब डिटेल में, तो हम डिटेल में भी बता पाए. यहाँ पे बस we have written the keywords. Then reducing antimicrobial resistance. Antimicrobial resistance has emerged as a major challenge. UPSC in preliminary examination has asked this question. Throughout the year in newspapers, you keep on reading articles related to antimicrobial resistance. Antimicrobial resistance develop होने का one important reason is unsustainability in the poultry sector, in the animal husbandry sector. Animals को हम uncontrolled way में क्या दे रहे हैं? Antibiotics दे रहे हैं, which are creating problems. Then protecting global health security. We have understood this, how bird flu was impacting global health security. Protecting biodiversity and environment. Why One Health is crucial for biodiversity and environment? Again, bird flu wala example है कि how various species are getting threatened. Then ensuring better resource utilization by sharing expensive labs and resources. This is also a very important aspect. आपको One Health approach का significance बताना हो, ये वाला dimension जरूर डालना आखिरी में. देखो One Health approach में we want the three sectors to cooperate: human health sector, animal health sector and environmental sector. तो human health sector में कौन लोग होंगे? Doctors, nurses, veterinary doctors, ecologists. They should be collaborating, they should be cooperating together. When they cooperate together, what happens? Same resources can be used by multiple people, multiple departments, multiple ministries. Will it lead to better resource utilization, resource efficiency? That's another advantage that we get out of One Health approach. But again, इन सब चीज़ों को और डिटेल में समझाएंगे if this is asked in the question. अभी मैंने ऐसे बताया है कि this is not the core aspect. Understanding the interconnection between human, animal and environmental health. Human interaction with animal is increasing. Population is increasing. Socio-economic conditions की वजह से more and more humans are penetrating into forests, and chances of disease spreading from animals to human is increasing, and therefore One Health approach is crucial. Unsustainability in the animal husbandry sector, overuse of antibiotics, animals living in a very congested environment increases the chances of they having lower immunity, they having easier scope of diseases getting transmitted. Globalization has led to humans, animals and animal product moving from one part of the world to another part easily, and the spread of disease easy. Climate change and land use changes have also led to, global warming has led to mosquitoes. Like winters में ना mosquitoes नहीं हुआ करते थे. आप आज से 20 साल पहले जाओगे, winters में mosquitoes were not a problem in Delhi. But today, even in winters, you see cases of dengue, see cases of malaria. अब तो मुझे लग रहा है summers में नहीं है. The kind of heat Delhi is facing, mosquitoes are not able to survive. There is no water left on the ground. From 29th June, monsoon is supposed to hit Delhi and will have rainfall, and then dengue, malaria cases would start coming up. है ना? अभी से full sleeve पहनना शुरू कर दो. Students do suffer a lot because of dengue, because of malaria, because of chikungunya and all. Preparation impact होती है. But anyways, because of global warming, what is happening? Mosquitoes are able to survive in much larger area for much longer period. They are able to breed in much larger area for a much longer period, and thus diseases are also spreading in a much larger area for much longer period. तो कैसे environmental health is creating problems for your health? Environmental pollution. Environment में जब harmful substances हैं, वो animals को भी परेशान कर रहा है. Fishes are dying, birds are suffering. That water pollution is also impacting humans. So these are various examples of how human, animal and environmental health are properly. How do you approach or how do One Health approach work? One Health approach works in this manner. Now this is a figure that you can have in your answer. डू नॉट वरी अबाउट ये इंडिविजुअल्स बनाना, बट ऐसे समझो जब आपको वन हेल्थ अप्रोच को समझाना हो एग्जामिनेशन हॉल में, तो यू विल से कि वन हेल्थ अप्रोच में देयर इज अ नीड ऑफ कोऑपरेशन थ्रू coordination, communication and collaboration between these people. Which people? People who are important for human health, animal health, environmental health and other stakeholders like government, policy makers, law enforcement agencies. If they coordinate, communicate, collaborate together, then we'll have an environment, animals and humans who are healthy. This is the One Health approach. जब हम बोलते हैं what is the One Health approach? One Health approach is the approach where the professionals of human health, professionals of animal health, professionals of environmental health, ecologists, veterinary doctors, researchers, nurses and other stakeholders, government, law-making bodies, law enforcement agencies, they are coordinating, communicating and collaborating to take care of the challenges of health in all the three sectors. It will result into an environment, animals and humans who are in a healthy situation. I hope we understood the One Health approach. अगर आपको One Health approach में फिगर के फॉर्म में समझाना हो, डायग्राम के फॉर्म में समझाना हो, this is something that you can, है ना. यू मे अगेन इसे ऐसे मत सोचो, ऐसे सोचो, यहाँ पे दिखाओ स्टेक होल्डर्स ऑफ एनिमल हेल्थ, ह्यूमन हेल्थ, एनवायरमेंट हेल्थ एंड अदर स्टेक होल्डर, गवर्नमेंट एंड अदर एजेंसी. इफ दे कोऑर्डिनेट, कोलैबोरेट, ऐसे you know what they will result into, it will result into a earth where environment is healthy, human is healthy and animals are healthy. This is how One Health approach को आपको अगर फिगर के फॉर्म में समझाना, बताना. Are we getting it? Okay. Now, what has India done to promote One Health approach in our fight against various zoonotic diseases? Or it's not only fight against various zoonotic diseases, One Health approach is fight against unsustainable exploitation of environment, fight against human diseases, fight against animal diseases. Right? So what has been done by India? Recently, the most important step that has been taken is the National One Health Mission. July 2022 में PM STIAC, PM Science and Technology Innovation Advisory Council has set up National One Health Mission. Under this mission, various stakeholders, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Ministry of Agriculture, Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, in fact even Ministry of Defense, various departments, Department of Biotechnology, various research organizations, CSIR, Indian Council of Agriculture Research, they have all come together. All the stakeholders have to come together to collaborate, to cooperate, to make this mission a success. What are they doing under it? The goal of the mission is to develop strategies for integrated disease surveillance, joint outbreak response. Disease surveillance is one aspect. आप animal sector में, आप humans में, आप environment में. Joint outbreak response, because they are collaborating, they will be able to deal with an outbreak at all the levels. Coordinated research and development, when we have to develop vaccine for bird flu, animal sector, human health sector, environmentalists, all of them will have to contribute, and ensuring seamless information sharing, communication. जो वन हेल्थ अप्रोच के अंदर जो चीजें चाहिए, they have come together to do that. In fact, the participating departments like DBT, CSIR are focused on strong R&D for development of vaccine, therapeutics, etc. Under the mission, a national network of high-risk pathogen laboratories have been created. BSL 3, BSL 4 laboratories are being created so that in future diagnostic and development of vaccination could be much more fast tracked. एक National Institute for One Health, इसके लिए भी what has been done, the process has been initiated. You will see foundation stone for National Institute of One Health has been laid in Nagpur in December 2022. Prime Minister Modi had inaugurated it. Not inauguration, matlab institute ka inauguration, laying down of the foundation stone. That is something that has been done. So we are also taking several measures to promote the idea of One Health in our fight against zoonotic disease. But there are several challenges that we face. जैसे institutional and policy fragmentation is a major issue in India. Health is a state subject. Collaborating there becomes a huge issue. Our various ministries work in silos. Ministry of Health and Ministry of Agriculture and Farmer Welfare, उनके बीच में अपने ego चल रहे होंगे. Right? This is a major issue because One Health approach requires collaboration, communication among these stakeholders. But when the system is fragmented, when they work in silos, they will not be able to coordinate properly. Limited infrastructure. अब the way I was telling you कि छत्तीसगढ़ के किसी गांव में बर्ड फ्लू फैलता है, उसका डायग्नोस्टिक होने के लिए there should be some facility available, no, in fast track. So neither do we have human resource nor do we have proper infrastructure to actually make One Health approach a success at the ground level. Fragmented data collection system and lack of standardized reporting in the health sector, especially in the veterinary health sector. Under National Digital Health Mission, some improvement has happened in case of human health in data collection. But veterinary health के लिए तो there is no database, centralized database where all cases of health issues among different animals are being reported. And finally, WHO भी जो One Health approach follow करवाने की, the WHO is trying to get One Health approach followed. It is also being criticized as something which may hamper a country's sovereignty. It's saying that in case of diseases like bird flu, you'll have to share genetic information with everyone. You will have to. These kind of things have been opposed by developing countries. These are some of the challenges because of which implementation of One Health approach in India is suffering, is facing some issues. And to deal with these, मैंने आपको बोला ही है, infrastructure, human resource, more R&D, ये more funds, more infrastructure, उससे अच्छी R&D होगी, अच्छे labs बनेंगे, and more human resource is something that we have to work upon. Okay, here we have, like you'll see, I've tried to write two different conclusions. अब जितने ज़्यादा articles पढ़ते हो, उसमें आखिरी में आपको एक important अच्छी लाइनें मिल जाती हैं जो आप conclusion में डाल सकते हो. By promoting cooperation across all sectors, a One Health approach can achieve the best health outcome for people, animal and plants in a shared environment. Simple conclusion, summary के form में. One Health approach will further the goal of moving closer to the clarion call of One Earth, One Health and Health for All. These calls were given by Prime Minister Modi only during the G20 summit. So, One Health approach will help us move towards these in a much faster. मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ नहीं वो नहीं, बट जैसे पीएम गति शक्ति में वी हैव ट्राइड टू ब्रिंग अ डिफरेंट मिनिस्ट्रीज टुगेदर, दैट काइंड ऑफ प्लेटफॉर्म कैन बी क्रिएटेड फॉर दिस. ओके, नाउ फाइनल लास्ट टॉपिक फॉर टुडे, रिफॉर्मिंग पोल्ट्री सेक्टर. व्हाट इज द कॉन्टेक्स्ट इन विच वी आर डिस्कसिंग इट? द कॉन्टेक्स्ट इज द रीसेंट बर्ड फ्लू, है ना. तो आप इसको इंट्रोड्यूस कैसे करोगे? एक इंट्रोड्यूस करने का तरीका है दैट द रिसर्जेंस of bird flu in recent years have highlighted the need of, or have highlighted several challenges in the poultry sector. This is one way in which you can introduce this thing. You can give some recent examples for the next 3 months also. When you study, when you will keep reading about bird flu, you can find some recent examples. Example based intro डाल सकते हो, data based intro डाल सकते हो. What are the key challenges which poultry sector is facing? First is the unsafe condition in industrial livestock production. Crammed chicken in wired cages. You must have seen chickens का transportation भी होता है तो wired cages में in small cage, like sometimes 50 chickens are packed in very small area. So cramped chicken or in wired cages or in battery cages in high densities create contaminated environment. They are defecating there, they are hitting, like sometimes they are bleeding there. In that scenario, that's a contaminated environment. These unsanitary conditions not only have detrimental effect on the welfare of animals, it's violating Prevention of Cruelty Act, but will also impact people who are eating that food, will also impact people who are working around these. Air quality and waste problem is another key challenge that poultry sector is facing. Air quality, why air quality is before that, CPCB, Central Pollution Control Board, has already identified poultry sector where more than 500 birds are there as a polluting industry. Poultry sector which is having more than 500 birds is a polluting industry as per whom? As per CPCB. Because it causes air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution, all kinds of. How does it cause air pollution? Odor pollution, particulate matter is released by them. They defecate. So initially, when we have limited number of birds, their waste can be used by farmers as nutrient in their soil. But nowadays, the waste created by poultry sector is so much and it's not properly distributed. So when it is dumped into soil, it is harming soil. It's becoming a cause of concern there. Plus, use of antibiotics is overuse of antibiotics in poultry sector is leading to antimicrobial resistance getting spread in other species also. It is also violating, when we are not taking care of birds in our industries, it's also violating Prevention of Cruelty to Animal Act. It's not only the pain, suffering, those aspects, but there are rules, there are laws here. In the Prevention of Cruelty to Animal Act, there are provisions which clearly say that even for food, when you are keeping animals, they have to be treated in a way which are humane. You cannot show cruelty to them. You cannot put a lot of animals in one small room. Breathing difficulty and those kind of problems would occur. But the way poultry sector is managed in the country, it is definitely violating Prevention of Cruelty Act. And then there are because here we were talking from the perspective of science and environment. We have dealt with more health and environment related problems. But अगर यही चीज हमें इकोनॉमी के पर्सपेक्टिव से भी आंसर करनी पड़े तो देयर आर सम अदर चैलेंजेस आल्सो लाइक लैक ऑफ एक्सेस टू फाइनेंस, लैक ऑफ स्किल्ड मैन पावर, मार्केट वोलेटिलिटी, फ्लक्चुएशन ऑफ फीड प्राइसेस. अब पोल्ट्री सेक्टर की बात करो इकोनॉमी वाइज, so these are other challenges. They say when we go to animal husbandry sector, we will study animal husbandry sector. There we'll see one of the problems with animal husbandry sector is what? One of the core problems with animal husbandry sector is कि यार farmers को तो loan easily मिल जा रहा है, animal husbandry sector में loan नहीं मिल रहा. That is the first problem, lack of access to finance. Poultry sector in India is initiated by ऐसे ही कुछ लोग decide करते हैं कि चलो हम मुर्गियां पालेंगे. They are not trained for it. They do not get any course for it. Skill development initiatives are not available. आप अगर किसी को जानते हो poultry sector में काम करते हैं, they are working there because they did not know anything and they were made चलो तुम ये काम कर लो, ये सीख लो. So the skilled workforce, trained workforce in this sector is not available. Then price fluctuations. Eggs के prices, milk का price, चलो milk is a different thing. Egg का price या chicken का price keep on fluctuating a lot, impacting the income of poultry sector. And finally, feed prices. The food that you have to give to poultry, its price keep on going up, creating problems on many occasions. These are some broad challenges which poultry sector is facing, and to deal with these challenges, various recommendations are given. In fact, अच्छा ये Parliamentary Standing Committee ने Law Commission of India का recommendation है. Law Commission of India in its 269th report had said कि यार overuse of antibiotics in poultry sector is taking place, but if we keep our animals in clean environment, in safe environment, then the need of antibiotics will reduce. And if the need of antibiotic is reduced, what would happen? less antibiotic use and thus less antimicrobial resistance. To implement this, and if that happens, eggs quality as well as meat quality would improve, our health would. And to make this happen, they had come up with draft rules, existing laws, they laid guidelines as per existing laws and international best practices. That is, the Law Commission of India had come up with a guideline, had recommended government guidelines based on Prevention of Cruelty to Animal Act as well as international standards of cleanliness of treatment to animals. But when government in 2019 came up with draft rule for egg industry, they had diluted these guidelines like anything. So one of the way forwards में one of the suggestions that we are giving is 269th report में जो Law Commission of India ने guidelines दी थी, let us get it or let us bring those guidelines. Implement तो छोड़ो, at least on papers those should be norms, those should be. Then strict regulation. We know that all that those poultry sector people are violating Prevention of Cruelty to Animal Act. So यहाँ पे we are talking about stricter regulation or implementation. Then developing biofertilizer facilities. What is this development of biofertilizer facilities? A lot of waste is getting created in this poultry sector, and this waste could be nutrient for soil. But when you overdump them, then it becomes pollution. So if we are able to have biofertilizer industries or organic fertilizer industry around a cluster of poultry sector, what can this lead to? This can lead to reduction in the problem of pollution. Then infrastructure improvement in the poultry sector, cold storage facilities, or cold storage facilities चलो meat storage के लिए है, but in general infrastructure improvement so that the way animals are kept are in a cleaner situation. Awareness among consumers. We are just buying anything. When we are eating some food, when we are eating some meat, we do not know how the animal had been kept, whether it was clean environment or not. So we'll need more awareness among users also, consumers also, so that when they are buying some product, they start asking questions about where is it coming from, in what conditions is that company keeping its eggs, keeping its animals, and other challenges of the sector. हम यहाँ क्योंकि साइंस के पर्सपेक्टिव से डील कर रहे थे, तो हम हेल्थ और उन सबसे रिलेटेड, बट देयर आर अदर चैलेंजेस ऑल्सो, जैसे फाइनेंसेस नहीं मिलना. गवर्नमेंट हैज रिसेंटली एक्सटेंडेड किसान क्रेडिट कार्ड टू एनिमल हस्बेंड्री सेक्टर ऑल्सो, but उसका on ground implementation hasn't been good yet. Similarly, so suggestion here is increasing the access of finance and insurance to poultry sector. Why do farmers, देखो, because of bird flu, farmers are suffering. Aren't the farmers suffering? Yes, they're suffering. The poultry farmers are suffering. But if they do not have proper insurance cover, they'll be like, bird flu होने का risk है भी तब भी, let us not kill birds, let us hide the case. Right, but if they were properly covered by insurance, what would have happened? They would not have hidden anything. Even if all the birds were needed to be culled, they would have done it because insurance would have covered them. So we need to, in order to ensure that human health is protected, we'll also need to ensure what happens? Insurance cover, finances should be available to these farmers in an effective way. Then we also need to come up with training programs, skill development programs in poultry sector so that we have good quality human resource. And finally, we also have to come up with alternative sustainable feed sources. एक ही तरह का खाना, एक ही तरह का दाना जो birds को दिया जा रहा है, that's also impacting their health. So some sustainable source of healthy feed, उस पे more research and development can happen, or research and development need not be like जाके आप बायोटेक्नोलॉजी से नया फीड सोर्स करके, रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट कुड जस्ट बी एक्सप्लोरेशन, व्हाट आर द डिफरेंट फूड आइटम्स व्हिच कैन बी गिवन टू देम एंड कैन बी हेल्दी फॉर देम. ओके, तो इन कंक्लूजन वी आर सेइंग दैट दीज रिफॉर्म्स आर अर्जेंटली नीडेड फॉर poultry sector, not only for the welfare of animals but also because animal welfare is closely interlinked with public health, ecosystem health and biodiversity conservation, because we are discussing it in the context of bird flu. Why are we discussing it? Why are we discussing the poultry sector? We are discussing it in the context of bird flu. तो हमने अपने इंट्रोडक्शन से कंक्लूजन को कनेक्ट किया. इंट्रोडक्शन में हम बर्ड फ्लू वाले एस्पेक्ट से इंट्रोड्यूस किया था हमने कि पोल्ट्री सेक्टर चैलेंजेस फेस कर रही हैं, एंड कंक्लूजन में आया। तो गो आज कम टॉपिक्स है पढ़ने के लिए, गो होम, रिवाइज, टुमारो एट 5 PM व्हेन यू विल बी हियर यू विल हैव 4 क्वेश्चंस रिटन ऑन द बोर्ड। एग्जैक्टली मैं देखूंगा 10 नंबर के या 15 नंबर के, एंड अकॉर्डिंगली जितना टाइम है वो टाइम पे क्लॉक भी चल रहा होगा। राइट एट द एंड ऑफ द क्लॉक आई विल कम एंड आई विल स्टार्ट डिस्कसिंग द पेपर, एंड आफ्टर दैट वी विल स्टार्ट विथ टॉपिक्स फॉर टुमारो। टुमारो देयर विल बी लॉट्स ऑफ टॉपिक्स, राइट। हमें 2 दिन चाहिए पूरे साइंस एंड टेक करने के लिए। आज का दिन मैं काउंट नहीं कर रहा हूँ। आज का दिन वॉज जस्ट अ इंट्रोडक्टरी situation where we spoke about what are all the things that we are going to do and what will be the schedule, how we should be writing answers, everything. So we'll need 2 days to finish entire science and technology, and I'm not going to get a day after tomorrow because schedule में तो वही है. So I'll take some extra class on Monday, Tuesday, 2 से 5 में कभी आ जाना. हाँ, कल के questions will be based on these topics only. Please note, every day the questions that you will be doing will be based on topics that you have already covered in the past. It need not be this booklet only. अभी तो बस एक ही किया है, but in future क्या होगा, आपके पास 4 बुकलेट हो जाएंगी. तो ऐसा हो सकता है 3 जस्ट प्रीवियस वाले बुकलेट से और 1 पुराने वाले से हो, so that you keep on revising all the previous things. ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए कि पुरानी वाली चीजें भूलते जा रहे हैं, है ना. सारी चीजें रिवाइज करके रखो हमेशा, और जितना ज्यादा रिवाइज करोगे उतना ज्यादा रिविजन आसान हो जाएगा. इफ यू हैव रिवाइज्ड द बुकलेट थ्राइस, उसके बाद शायद 1 मिनट में आप फ्लिप करके देख लोगे, हाँ ये सब आता है. हाँ, नोट्स मेकिंग. एक मुझे अपना कोई बुकलेट दोगे? देखो, व्हाट आई जनरली रिकमेंड एवरीवन इज, when you are going home today, you're all smart people, you're all matured people, you're all those people who will be writing mains this year, है ना. तो if you read this topic once or twice, you'll be confident कि हाँ मैं अच्छा आंसर लिख सकता हूँ. You'll also be confident कि यार I do not need to read the entire paragraph. Just one keyword is enough for me to understand this entire paragraph. So what I want is, आप लोग हर टॉपिक को 5 लाइन्स में समराइज करो. इंट्रो, just 2 keywords, like your intro. In your intro, how would you want to start? Just these keywords should be able to tell you. Let's say you want to start with a data-based intro. अभी से आप डिसाइड कर लो कि मैं ऐसा इंट्रो लिखना चाहता हूँ. एंड व्हेन इट कम्स टू लेट्स से गगनयान, आपके पहली लाइन में आप बस लिख लो 3 countries. This will be good enough. In future, when you look at these 3 countries, you will understand कि अच्छा अभी तक 3 countries have sent humans to space. 4th इंडिया बनना चाह रहा है. डेटा बेस्ड इंट्रो आप लिखना चाह रहे थे, है ना. When you have to talk about significance, just rather than writing everything, just पहला कीवर्ड फ्यूचर प्रोग्राम, दूसरा कीवर्ड साइंस एंड टेक एडवांसमेंट, 7वां कीवर्ड सॉफ्ट पावर. जस्ट राइट डाउन दोस कीवर्ड्स. उससे क्या होगा ना, व्हेन यू विल हैव दिस, आप कहीं भी हो, आप सुबह ब्रेकफास्ट कर रहे हो, बगल में ये एक आपकी शीट रखी हुई है, यू विल जस्ट लुक एट चंद्रयान. इन 1 minute you will be able to look at these 25 keywords and you will be quickly able to revise ये सारी चीजें. ओके, तो प्रॉब्लम्स 1 2 3 4 5, जस्ट द कीवर्ड्स. आपको वहां पे 5 पैराग्राफ लिखने होंगे एग्जाम में, बट यहाँ पे बस 5 कीवर्ड लिखो. इससे यू शुड बी एबल टू रिकॉल दी एंटायर पैराग्राफ. And that would happen once you have read your core notes 2-3 times. That will not happen immediately, but eventually you should have these small notes, and this will help you revise everything so quickly that life would be at ease. एक दूसरा तरीका जिसमें कुछ बच्चे यूज करते हैं, like some of my selected students last year said, so we were not able to make this short notes, but what we did, we just highlighted the keywords. हर एक टॉपिक में 25 कीवर्ड्स वर हाइलाइटेड एंड वी वर जस्ट लुकिंग एट द कीवर्ड. वी जस्ट डूड, हमने पूरे नोट्स नहीं पढ़े, हमने बस. तो इसीलिए डू नॉट यूज हाइलाइटर इन क्लासरूम. आप क्लासरूम में सब कुछ हाईलाइट करते जाते हो. नो, ओनली हाईलाइट दैट पोर्शन विच यू वुड वांट टू रीड अ डे बिफोर योर टेस्ट, द लास्ट डे ऑफ द आपके GS2 और GS3 के बीच में जो गैप होगा, GS1 और GS2 के बीच में जो गैप होगा, उसमें आप देखना चाहोगे कि these are the 5 pages I have in 5 pages I have 200 topics, I want to quickly revise them. That's another thing that you can do. Okay, this is in this way you should try to summarize. This is ये ना अभी let's say अगर मैं ये शुरू का portion हटा देता हूँ, today you have around 12 pages. 12 pages क्यों? ये 6 टॉपिक्स एक ही पेज में आ सकते हैं कीवर्ड्स के फॉर्म में. आपको कोई कीवर्ड समझ में नहीं आएगा कि यार ये क्या था, you can always go to this and read it and come back to it. This I'm sorry, this will help your revision drastically and it would be like every Sunday आप ना बैठ के पूरा रिवाइज कर सकते हो. आपको ये टेंशन नहीं होगी कि रिविजन नहीं हो रहा, रिविजन नहीं हो रहा. If you in 80 classes here, if you are doing let's say in 70 classes here, let's say every day we are doing 10 topics, you are doing 700 topics in GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4. If you are able to revise it like this, एक बार घर जाके पूरे नोट्स देख लिए, इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें हाईलाइट कर ली, दूसरी बार उसके शॉर्ट नोट्स बना लिए, you will see कि revising those 700 topics would not be a challenge and you will be able to use all those things in other places also. आप ऐसे लिख रहे होगे, ऐसे में भी आप यूज कर पाओगे सारी चीजों को, क्योंकि आपने इतनी बार पढ़ा होगा, इतनी बार रिवाइज किया होगा. वन हेल्थ इज समथिंग जिसपे ऐसे लिखने को आ सकता है. वन हेल्थ इज वन सच एरिया वेयर यू मे गेट अ लॉट ऑफ थिंग्स टू राइट अ क्वेश्चन ऑन एसे. अभी आप सोशल जस्टिस सोसाइटी पढ़ोगे, women issues and all those things, you keep getting essays to write on those topics. Education पे you keep getting essays to write. और आजकल philosophical essay आ रहे हैं. philosophical essay पे तो जितने dimension आपको समझ में आएंगे उतने dimensions आप लिख पाओगे, and that would happen when you have revised your GS properly. Okay, so I'll see you tomorrow at 5. At 5 first we will write answers, then we'll discuss those answers, and then we will come to our tomorrow's notes, which will be slightly bigger, where we'll be covering more topics. Okay, thank you very much. एक मिनट दे दीजिए मुझे, माइक वाइक ऑन है अभी.